5:30, friends.
Wow.
Game on.
We'll do roll call. Mayor Doby.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nafolda.
Here.
Councilmember Hasselfreed.
Here.
Councilmember Hibbert.
Here.
Councilmember Lowe.
Here.
All right. And then, can I get the most amazing city attorney that I've ever had the pleasure of working with to get us into closed session, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The City Council will now recess into closed session to discuss items 3A through E as listed on this evening's agenda.
City attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council has returned from closed session with no reportable action taken.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So if everyone could stand with me, we will have Councilmember Hibbert do our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation by Councilmember Lowe.
Thank you for joining us today. Please join me in pledging our allegiance to the greatest flag in the world. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we gather this evening in service to the City of Los Alamitos, we give thanks for this community, its people, its neighborhoods, and the shared commitment that brings us together to serve our common good. During this Easter season, a time many recognize as one of renewal, hope, and new life, we are reminded of the opportunity to begin again, to lead with compassion, to listen with humility, and to act with integrity. May the spirit of renewal guide our thoughts and decisions tonight. Amen.
Amen. Okie dokie. Next up are presentations. Oh, he's one of my favorite. Okay, so is this down there too? Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're as happy to be here as I am. I would like to invite Heidi Adams from Epson. Come on down. So thank you for joining us this evening. I have some things that I must read. All right. The legal clauses that must be read. We interviewed Epson, took a tour. Thank you for opening your doors. I've seen some things none of y'all have seen. They're cool, outstanding. But they were our business spotlight program for April. And it's designed to create awareness about the variety of local businesses located right here in Los Alamitos. This business spotlight program is a great way for the city to say, showcase great businesses in Los Al and also provide another tool to help our businesses grow. For April, we recognize Epson. So everybody sees it, right? It's big, it's huge. It takes up a footprint, about a third of the city of Los Alamitos. But they got great cold brew, so we'll take it, right? So I want to thank you for bringing your business to us. We're going to watch a little, they're going to get rid of that. Yeah. Because that's, X that. We're fine on antivirus. We don't have antivirus issues. So we're going to watch a little short clip. And I'll invite you to do some. Perfect.
Join Mayor Tanya Doby as we proudly feature Epson in this month's Mayor's Business Spotlight. global leadership in printing and imaging technology right here in Los Alamitos. As a regional headquarters, Epson plays a vital role in driving economic growth, advancing innovation, and championing environmental responsibility. We are proud to celebrate Epson for helping our city thrive today while shaping a more sustainable future.
Now, there's a much longer version. I realize I didn't give you too much, but it will be uploaded to our website, our YouTube. We'll push it out to y'all so that you can share it on all your social channels. And just on behalf of myself and my council and the city, we are so excited for the deepening of the collaborative work that we're gonna do with Epson. So come on over and share your thoughts with us.
Perfect. Thank you. Nice to see everyone. This is the North American and Latin America headquarters for Epson. So Epson is based in Japan, so this is our regional headquarters. I live right here in Rossmore. I lived for 10 years in the neighborhood right here, so my kids are in school, so we love being a part of the community. I walk past this almost every day during the week as I go on my lunch break. So just thank you for having us and being a part of the community as well.
We have this. I'm going to say this to you, and then please share it with all of your friends over there. And then, yeah, so apparently our supervisor, Janet Wynn, would also acknowledge your contributions to the city and to her district. So thank you on her behalf as well. And then, okay, so. You take on that. And I'll come and join you.
All
And
right.
I'll get you to get closer.
They post one of us together, right?
Certain places, yes.
You can come, please. Come on. Thank you. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Or flash to this, like, still. Next is, presentation of the certificate to Barbara, Barbara B. Finance Manager, recognition of being a Los Alamitos employee of the quarter. So I'm gonna invite Finance Director Craig. Come on.
Barbara's been with the city department for about 18 months, and during this short time, there's just a huge amount of accomplishments she's been able to facilitate for the department. So just really a couple. One is we were on a paper timesheet payroll processing system. We have to do it paperless. Thanks to Barbara for implementing that.
Your microphone is on. Did I do it?
There we go. Okay. So as I was saying, her accomplishments are just endless, but I'm just reading a couple, just make it short. One of the things we've been able to do is we're essentially paperless now. Everything we do is digital. Record keeping, from warrants, purchase orders, journal entries, the list goes on and on. Banking changes, she was able to negotiate an accessible earnings credit rate increase, which offsets the fees that bank charges us. We're in the process of working on an RFP to bring in possibly a new bank to the city. We also did digital 1099s and W-2 processing, again paperless. She was able to get the first ever award for budgeting the city's ever received, and keeps our audits on time. So I'm very pleased to have Barbara as part of my team.
So do I present? Oh, I guess my name is on that. Okay. Oh, you've got two too. Okay, so Miss Barbara B. I think I'm just calling you that. On behalf of myself, the city, and I'm gonna speak for the staff too. Congratulations, and thank you sharing your excellence with us. It is greatly appreciated. And then Supervisor Janet Wynn, her were amazing too, and she had to get in. So, but wait, there's more. I'm gonna let him, it looks a little heavy, so I'm gonna let you,
There you go. Well
Okay, so
done.
y'all, picture.
Picture time?
Yep. Yep.
Let's get you a signature. But I think that's
Okay. Oh, now I have to. All right. Next, we'll go to C, presentation by Assistant City Manager Ron Noda, Dr. Ron Noda, regarding the Los Alamitos storm drain and catch basin system overview. Now, I would just like to say that this is as a result of something that was asked for just last month because of some information that I'd kind of seen circulating on the internet and the different media sites about how we go about replacing our storm drains. So I appreciate the quickness and efficiency that our ACM put into this presentation. So, sir, I turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. Again, thank you. The reason why we were able to turn this around really quick is because we're in the midst of trying to rectify some of the issues regards our storm drains and catch basin. And so, again, as the mayor has stated at last month's meeting, it was requested to come in to provide some information about what the plan is. We are aware as a city that we do have some areas in the city that floods when it rains. And so, about 6 months, 8 months ago, we started the plan of trying to rectify it. And so I'm going to take you through what the storm drains are, what catch basins are, why we have to kind of pay attention to it, and what, again, the funding source and what the overall process is, it involves as we go through this, okay? Okay. All right, so introduction and purpose. So the city's storm drains is, of course, aging, fragmented, in some areas undersized for current stormwater demands. So most of our storm drains was put in place when the city was incorporated, so in around 1960. So it was around that time. Some of it was before, because the city was still here before it was actually incorporated in 1960. So we have storm drains that have, again, built for the population and the size of the city in the 50s and late 40s. So the importance of storm drain is effective management to essentially protect residents, properties, and public facilities. And we also have to comply with some state mandates. So there's two that we have to have there. It's acronyms for NPDS, which stands for National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. What I tell people in layman's terms, that's the water that goes out to the ocean. And the other one is our MS4 requirements, which is Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. Again, these regulations mandates that cities have to manage stormwater runoff, reduce pollutants entering waterways, and implement what we call best management practices to protect water quality. And as council is aware, living in Southern California with the scarcity of water, we have to really, really take care of the stormwaters that we have. Some background on some existing structures that we have here, right? So Public Works Division and our Engineering Division maintains approximately 32,000 linear feet of storm drain system. Again, that has developed over several decades since, like I said earlier, the late 1940s. We have pipes, we have catch basins, we have culverts, outfalls, pump stations. What people don't understand here is it's not passive. So storm drains are passive. The one that you see out in the street, you get water, it flows into the storm drain, and then it flows in our particular city flows into the creek, which is we call Coyote Creek. But we do have a couple lift stations or pump stations in the city. And then several components, of course, no longer meet modern capacity standards and, of course, current regulatory requirements. And so, again, we are aware of this. And so, again, several months ago, we have started the plan of developing a storm drain master plan. So storm drain master plan is basically, as you can see, it's a long-range planning document that evaluates the condition, capacity, and performance of our current system, and then has recommendations on how to resolve some of the issues that we are currently have. So again, in short, the blueprint for how Los Alamos will manage, upgrade, and invest in the storm drain system over the next 10 to 20 years is developed in this storm drain master plan, and I listed there that we have approximately 129 catch basins, we have 1 lift station, and we have 1 pump station in the city. I know it's, if I can get there. It went away. Okay, I know it's small, but I put some larger prints on your table. It's 11 by 17. Looks like this on your table. So the one that says existing, right? Again, I know it's small, but this is the largest we can get on paper. Basically, the blue dotted line you see on your paper, and if you can really, really squint and look on that screen if you're viewing it on YouTube or on at home, is what we currently have, right? And so it just showcased the blue lines and how Los Alamitos in certain neighborhoods, especially you can see in Midtown, there's none in a lot of the Midtown streets such as Green Avenue, Howard, or Farquhar there, okay? The next slide here is as a result of the assessment that our engineering division has done and the proposal they said, you get there, is that it, right? It's a proposal, and so again, it's the red lines. Again, look at the one that says proposed, and you can see that they're actually proposing significant amount of storms being put in, all right? And so there's a process when we go through the storm drains, because the storm drains, we have to contact the County of Orange and flood control and all that stuff. But I just want to point out that we do have the plan right there. It's not cheap. It's very, very expensive, and later on I will give you an example. Okay, any questions so far on existing or proposed?
I have a question on the proposed.
Yes.
Right, so to the big blank space is the base. Immediately to the left is the Rossmore Highlands, and there's two lines that are proposed there. How did we arrive at those lines?
It's a little detailed for me to answer you today, but basically, when we go out there and we do an assessment, right, the engineering division does an assessment, and then, so in this particular, I know is the way that neighborhood, it's sloped down to the very end towards Over Lewis Park, right? And so there's a storm drain at the base, at the front entry of the park, and it's not adequate. So they're thinking of adding additional storm drains to alleviate some of the flooding that goes on there during rain.
Is it possible to extend those red lines northward, because those streets in there flood almost up to Rossmore Way? So I do see that it's down at the south end. The problem with that particular neighborhood, I live in that particular neighborhood, is the slope is insufficient. So if there's anything that we could do to extend that, because I didn't see anything that we're fixing slopes, we're just installing storm drains, as I'm seeing.
Yeah, this is a storm drain master plan. So when we go out there and redo streets as part of a street project, that's part of the engineering, the PS&Es, the plan specs, is they look at slope. So yes, I am aware that the Highlands are very flat, right? And I think the top part of the Highlands, I'm very bad at north and south. It doesn't flow towards the bottom, towards Over Lewis Park. It flows towards Los Al Boulevard.
Yes.
But yes, it is very flat. And so when we go in there and redo a street, like we're just doing the Oak Street project right here, they took apart a lot of, or fixed a lot of the gutter system because of the slope situation. So when we go do the street, but this one here is just talking about catch basins or lift stations or pump stations.
Could we extend this at all, or is this written in stone?
No, it's not a risk. I can go back and ask the engineering division, okay?
Thank you.
All right, so again, as I stated, that to fix a catch basin is very costly. So right now, the city is looking at several grants to help assist with fixing catch basins. So we either use a state stormwater grant, OCTA transportation grant. And so the last time we actually got awarded an OCTA transportation fund was for the installation of the CPS, which is the screens. So if you drive around Los Alamitos and look at a catch basin, you'll see screens in front of the catch basins that will help with the debris so it doesn't go into the catch basin and clog up the system. So that screen catches all that debris, the leaves or trash or anything like that. And of course, we also take a look at regional water management programs as well. So go to the last slide. So as you can see here, there's a funding roadmap. So number one is we assess infrastructure need. Again, that's part of the storm drain master plan. The second one is we identify funding source. So as we go through the projects, and we kind of do it when we, again, do it with the street project, then we identify funding sources. We develop project scope. After that, we propose grant material. The next stage, number 5, is we submit the application. Number 6 is secure funding and match. 7, implement project. And of course, always at the end, we have to report, maintain, and compliance, and then we ask for reimbursement. So example here is we're doing Reagan Street in the upcoming fiscal year as part of our CDBG project. And so we are repaving that street from Farquhar to Katella. And so there is again, according to our storm drain master plan, is to increase catch basins on that street. That is a street, especially by Fire Station 2 of OCFA, it does flood. And so we are now in the process of applying for a grant. So the CDBG funding, and plus some of the cities, the match, will do the paving of the street, but then we're applying for a grant to actually do the storm drain fix. So I believe, if my memory serves me right, the asphalt fix is around $500,000. The storm drain itself, the engineering estimate is saying it's about $1.3 million. So that's why I stated it's very, very costly to fix or remedy a storm drain issue. But that's the plan that we're doing. And so again, we were in the process of this. It started again with going out there, assessing and getting a storm drain master plan. And as we go from street to street to street as part of our complete street project rehabs, then we will address the storm drain at that time. That's the end of my presentation. I'm here for any questions.
Any other questions?
I have another question. You had mentioned that, you send the engineers out to the streets. We're coming, it's April, it's not as rainy right now. When will you be doing that? During the rainy season?
So assessment takes several months. So I would say yes and no. So when it rains, yes, and when they go out there, and then when it's not raining, they go out there as well. So yes and no.
Have we assessed it when it was raining in the last, 6 months or so?
No, this was done before then. Again, it was started about 8 to 10 months ago. But there's a lot of historical knowledge from our Public Works Division. They know where the problem areas in the cities are.
Okay. I'd like to be, any input regarding the Rossmore Highlands, I'd like to provide any input because it is like many areas in the city, is problematic. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
I was just curious, in College Park North, I think there's a pump station or a station there. Is this a new proposal? Do we know if that affects that at all?
So no, so one of my first tasks as I transferred over from another department to my current department, I was tasked to go and remedy that. It's called Finley Pump. It's on Finley. And so right now it's humming, so it's good. Okay. We addressed it at that time when we went in and fixed it.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, Councilmember, I just have to say this for Ron. When I first got here, Finley Pump was a very large issue that was front of mind for everyone, and so every single time we have a drop of rain, Ron gets a phone call from me about the pump, even though it's been working perfectly for the ever since Ron took over. So, but I thank you for the question.
Excellent. I'll remember to call you next time it rains.
Yes.
Good? Okay. All right, well, now we will move on to item 7, which is oral communications. At this time, any individual in the audience may come forward to speak on any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. Remarks are to be limited to not more than 5 minutes per speaker. And this would be the appropriate time for anyone to come forward to speak on an agenda item, as no public hearings are on tonight's agenda, and comments will not be called for each item. I do have one speaker card here. Looks like I have Miss Cindy and Miss Maria. Y'all want to come on down? Or send your ambassador? Well, come on down.
Good evening. My name is Maria Teresa Diaz. I am a founding member of St. Isidore Historical Plaza. And what that means is that when they were about to demolish the place, some parishioners and people from the community decided to save the place because we knew it was historical. And it's the only historic site, public site in the city of Los Alamitos. And at this time, it happens that the chapel side is 100 years old, and we are celebrating it big time. And we want to tell the officials here, which represents the city, to really help us to spread the word, because we have a community service center there, we have a cultural center there, and a historical place. And I started as a parishioner there, and we were the first 5 members who said, it's not going to be demolished, it's going to be saved. And we saved it. And I'm so proud of that. In the name of all the people at St. Isidore, we're a beautiful family. And now I'm going to now introduce you to the Vice President, Cindy Powers.
Hello, thank you very, very much for letting us speak. You know, I let her take care of the heart, and I'll take care of the business. So we have lots of things planned this year. We're wholeheartedly inviting you guys to come out. First, we have Feria de Abril this coming Sunday. It's a Spanish festival. There's flamenco. You can learn flamenco. There's Spanish food, tapas. And then we have our first 100th celebration is the St. Isidore, our patron saint, feast day on May 15th. That's just going to be a small event, but it'll be a mass. Then we have our big festival, open house, June 27th. We hope you can all make it. It's a free festival. We'll have live entertainment. We'll have an escape room, all kinds of wonderful fun things, and tours of the chapel and history of the chapel. And if you guys would like to post any of this stuff, that would be wonderful. I know that Emmeline has already posted our flyer. She's so wonderful to us. And then on the bottom, you'll see our big gala is August 29th. So we're inviting you guys all to that too. So I hope not only will you help us advertise, but I hope you come and help us celebrate. We'd love to have you all there.
Thank you. Do you have those flyers already, Miss Wendy? So the way that you get counsel to most anything, and this is for anybody, is you give it to the city clerk. She's got all of our contact information.
You can speak to the heart or the business, it doesn't matter.
I'm speaking to both. I'm speaking to both. I know that the head and the heart got to work together to get most things done, so.
Yeah, I started in 1975.
Wow.
And I'm 86 years old. So I've
That's
been there
amazing.
from 75 until now.
Well, thank you for your service
I
to
love
this
that place
community.
very much.
That is awesome. You all done, ladies? You all done?
We're done. Any questions for us?
Any questions?
We got your information. She'll send it all out to us. Thank you for sharing and inviting us.
Thank you.
While they're making their way, are there any other friends that would like to come up and say a thing or two? No? All right, well, I will go ahead and close oral communications. We will move on to updates from the mayor. And at this time, I can just kind of report on things that are not specifically described on the agenda that will be of interest to the community, and I cannot ask for action or discussion to be taken. So there's a few things I'd like to share with y'all. Number one is Administrative Professionals Day. I believe that it's on Wednesday, and someone wrote out some beautiful things for me to read, but what I would like to do is, there are some named specifically: Veronica out of PD, Zana, Lauren out of Rec, Vandine, Gabriella. The bottom line is, our admin make this world go round. We cannot do the things that we do without our admin. They are our gatekeepers. They are the ones that keep us on track. They handle us. They make sure that we look good. I cannot look better than what our admin position us to look. So from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of my colleagues, thank you and happy Administrative Professionals Day to all of the administrators represented in the City of Los Alamitos. Next, I would like to do some staff shout outs. I want to extend a congratulations and a heartfelt appreciation to the entire Rec and Development Services team for an outstanding spring carnival that was at Little Cottonwood Park on Saturday, April 4th. There were about 5,000 community members, and that success is a direct reflection of the dedication, teamwork, and commitment that creates meaningful and lasting experiences for our residents. I have to imagine that the children will iterate back to their parents later on, like, oh, I remember when you took me to the spring carnival and I found the golden egg and they took me up to the stage and I was able to get whatever it was, because none of my kids won it, but that's okay. Because the babies that did were over the moon. So I live for those types of experiences. And I would like to especially and specifically recognize Rec Supervisor Ms. Tim, and then Rec Coordinator Mr. Angel Hernandez. They served as our event leads and they did an absolutely LosAl spectacular job. That is just gonna become an adjective now. If it's LosAl, phenomenal. LosAl, spectacular. LosAl, terrific. You know it was outstanding. So your leadership, coordination, and attention to detail were instrumental in bringing this community event to life. So thank you for all that you do. Your efforts make a difference in our community. And then next, I got a shout out for one of our PD officers, Officer Evan Flynn. He was acknowledged for recovering the highest number of stolen vehicles within the Los Alamitos Police Department last year and at the recent 36th Annual ATAC Awards. So Officer Flynn recovered a total of 5 stolen vehicles, which resulted in 3 arrests and a combined recovery value of $165,000. So I would like to commend Officer Flynn for his outstanding work and dedication to public safety. And I extend my appreciation to the men and women of the LosAl PD for their continued efforts in keeping our city safe every hour of every day. All right, lastly, I have some items that I would like staff to look into for me. The first is the structure for the LosAl Loop. It provides some amazing community-focused stories, and I would like to look at being more strategic in the information, the projects, the objectives that we push out so that we can keep our residents even more informed about our municipal priorities. So I see you taking notes. You writing what I'm saying? Okay, cool. And then I would like a update on our City Council Strategic Plan Workshop. What were any of the key outcomes or priorities that were defined? I don't want that time to get lost. There were some great things that came out of that meeting, so I would like to bring that back to our forefront. And then lastly, I attended the California Parks and Recreation District 10 Awards and installation banquet that was at Fullerton Community Center with the Parks and Recs and Cultural Arts Commission to honor Financial Partners Credit Union. And they were this year's Distinguished Volunteer Award recipient. FPCU continues to support the LosAl community through annual event participation and sponsorships, contributing to major 2025 events such as Race on the Base, Weekend of Art, and Santa's Village at Winter Wonderland. So their financial support helps the city keep these events free. These events are free. I need y'all to understand that. We don't charge an entry fee. Like, we're not standing at the door asking for $5, $10, $20. We could. Our events are that amazing. But it's the support of our community partners that help us keep these things free to our community. So FPCU's ongoing commitment and positive community impact are truly and greatly appreciated. So on that, we'll move on to updates from city staff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I just have a few for tonight. I'd actually like Director Noda to give us a little update on the upcoming Pause for the Planet and Senior Prom.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Development Services and Recreation are teaming up to present Pause for the Planet, a pet fair and Arbor Day celebration. This collaborative event is taking place on Saturday, April 25th at Laurel Park on Bloomfield, and Katella. Think of the cross street there. Adopt a new best friend, shop pet supplies, plant a tree for the future, and enjoy a fun-filled day. Event activities include pet adoptions and vendor fair, eco and family-friendly activities, free saplings for the first 50 guests, plant a tree with the Los Alamitos Public Works Department, Los Alamitos Police Department canine demonstration, a dog costume contest at 11 a.m., pup playtime at the new Los Alamitos Dog Park, and free face painting. All guests must register at cityoflosalamitos.org to attend the free event. Wristbands will be given upon arrival, and the entrance will be located on Bloomfield, and parking is available for event attendees at the Los Alamitos Elementary School and UCI Health Los Alamitos parking structure. Thank you to the event sponsors, Epson, Financial Partners Credit Union, and Universal Waste Systems. And then we have Senior Prom, Tropical Paradise. You're all invited, except there's only 10 tickets left. On Saturday, May 2nd, it's a sellout event every single year. Join us from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Los Alamitos Community Center with live music by King Salmon and the Funk Yard Horns, casino games, a photo booth, delicious dinner, dancing, and social fun. Tickets are $10 pre-sale for ages 50 plus and $12 for ages 50 and under. And again, only 10 tickets left. If that, there might be 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmeline. Next, I'd like to actually turn it over to Chief Claiborne. Mary, you had mentioned, obviously, that at the last meeting you had asked for an update on a couple of items. The chief is going to provide those now on the neighborhood watch, the business watch, and targeted and scheduled bike team enforcement. Chief?
Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to first take advantage of a rare opportunity for me. It's not often that I get to speak in front of council, and I actually get to have my command staff here with me today. So I want to take advantage of that. Time and time again, I call on them to pivot in the 11th hour to deliver, and they continue to do that, tonight being no different. So I've asked each of them to come and present on the areas of the budget that are under their span and control, and so they're going to be doing that. And so Captain South, Captain Gallagher, Support Services Manager Acosta, and yes, of course, Veronica Wilson, they're an integral part of the drive. You know, they drive the success that we are having within the PD, and I would like to take this chance to recognize them in front of all of you before we jump into this. So thank you for that. As far as addressing neighborhood watch, so I want to be careful. 2 of these 3 items are going to be specifically addressed within the budget presentation, so I'll cover over them very lightly. So Support Services Manager Acosta will talk about neighborhood watch, and when we do our budget presentation, we will afford some opportunity for you to ask questions of each of the presenters at that time, just so they don't have to get up and back down each and every time. And so he will specifically discuss the rollout of the neighborhood watch program and some of the nuances and challenges with doing so. And the same with the targeted and scheduled bike team enforcement. Captain Gallagher will be discussing that in his budget presentation, and he will explain our vision, what our vision is in rolling that out, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have at that time. But when it comes to the business watch, and this is where I need to also tout the unique opportunity that we have had at the PD to be able to work with Matt Leitner. We are just scratching the surface on the areas that we are partnering with him to be able to maximize, right, a force multiplier in the things that we do at the PD. So he helped with creating the framework of the business watch that I'm going to attempt to describe this evening. So we have an overview of the program. We've broken down goals of each one of the departments, a tentative timeline, everything. So the Business Watch is a collaborative initiative between the Police Department and the Economic Development Division to enhance public safety, reduce crime, and support a thriving local business environment. The program empowers business owners and employees to actively partner with the city in sharing information, improving awareness, and strengthening communication, creating a unified approach to prevention and response. And just to maybe highlight briefly on the PD side, so we'll be conducting outreach and safety assessments, providing crime prevention such as theft, fraud, and workplace and violence, sharing crime updates and trends, coordinating response strategies for reoccurring issues, even potentially assigning a business liaison officer who will provide safety and security assessments to local business. And so these things are just a tentative schedule of the framework of what this will look like as we attempt to roll this out within the next year.
Thank you, Chief. I did want to point out for the council that one of the things that the chief brought up right there, the use of Matt Liner and our management analysts. This has been something that we've gone to here in the last couple of years with the idea of having what we call kind of fire jumpers that we can send into any situation, be able to quickly assess the situation and provide quick and accurate information to their chain of command in order to be able to make decisions. And so this is another example of how, you know, small cities are able to navigate their needs and be able to move pieces around the table quickly in order to accomplish things. So again, Chief, thank you for bringing that up. And with that, Madam Mayor, that's all I got.
Perfect. Thank you. Before I move on to the warrants, I just want to let my audience know, y'all don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. You are more than welcome to stay and enjoy all that we have to offer. But if you would like to get up and leave, I will give you a few moments so that you can exit peacefully. Otherwise, I'll keep moving. We good?
Where's all the staff getting out?
Oh, no, the staff can't leave.
Madam Mayor, I did want to point out that there is a student in the back who is here for an assignment out of his civics class. So if you want to pick on him, feel free.
Hi, friend. Do you have any questions yet? Is it what you thought it would be? Just about. Just about. It'll get more interesting, I promise. So if you have questions afterward, feel free to come on up. We're here for a little bit trying to pack our things. Be more than happy to answer questions that you have, okay? Okay. All right, well, I gave y'all an out. We're moving on to warrants. So per the council's accelerated warrant policy, staff will note questions and follow up after the meeting. No questions were received regarding tonight's warrants. So are there any new questions with follow-up before the next council meeting?
I'll move it. I'll second.
Roll call.
Mayor Doby,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nafolda,
Yes.
Councilmember Hasselbrink,
Aye.
Councilmember Hibbert,
Aye.
Councilmember Lowe.
Aye.
Fantastic. Next we'll move to 11, which is our consent calendar. All consent calendar items may be acted upon by one motion unless a council member requests separate action on a specific item. Is there anyone that would like to pull an item?
I'm gonna pull G.
Pulling G. All right. Any others? Can I get a motion to move everything except G?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
This is all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Fantastic. Okay, so citywide speed survey report. You want a staff report, buddy?
I just have a few questions. I don't really need a staff report. On, we go to this survey, maybe I'm just not smart enough to figure this out. Why was segment 12 specifically, or the only one that was the recommended round down?
So, Mayor Pro Tem, I can take that answer. So, when we do our speed survey, we survey the vast majority of the streets. And so the street has a mile per hour limit on it. And so when we do the speed survey, the average number of cars have to hit within, I believe it's a 5 mile per hour. So let's say it's 30 miles an hour, it has to be 35 or 30. If it goes under, let's say 30, in this situation here, let's say it was 28, then it is recommended that we lower the speed limit, and vice versa. If it goes up higher than the 35, so let's say the average is 37, then you can have the decision to either increase the speed limit or try to decrease the speed limit through various enforcement.
Well, let's look at this one specifically because I'm still
Okay.
confused. On page 228, I don't know if that's of our whole packet or just the report.
Should say it at the bottom. It's 228 or 575.
So 228 out of our whole, of our entire packet, which is, it's
If you look on the speed survey, there's a page number on the right upper corner. Can you give me that page number?
Oh, 12.
12, okay.
well, segment 12. This isn't an appendix,
Segment 12.
appendix A. And then it's specifically segment 12.
Okay. This is for Los Alamitos Boulevard from Katella Avenue to Bradbury.
Correct.
Okay.
So if I'm reading this right, and probably not, that's probably the problem. The speed limit is, I guess it varies between 35 and 40. The 85th percentile speed is 38. So we're lowering it because more people, 85% of the people drive 38 miles an hour?
So you want to look at the 50th percentile. So the 50th percentile there says 34. So again, it's below the, so I believe it's 40 miles an hour on the speed limit, I believe, on that street, right? And so because it is lower than the 5 miles per hour, it is suggested to lower the speed limit.
Well,
So I just want to make sure that it's suggested. We don't have to do it.
yeah, you know, I get that, but I mean, if the recommendations are supposed to make it safer, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if 50% is already driving under the speed limit, and 85% is driving under the speed limit, 38. First of all, I don't believe that, because when I walk on that street, people are flying down it. So I have a hard time with the 38. But I guess I just don't understand, you know, and I see other streets with way more crashes, and if I'm reading the crash rate correctly, the crash rate is lower than a lot of other segments, especially on Katella. Why would we just single this? I guess I just don't get it, you know. I'm not in favor of lowering the speed limit, but if there's a particular reason why, when there's much more crashes on Katella between, you know, Los Al and Bloomfield, why wouldn't those be lowered as opposed to this one?
You know, I wish our traffic engineer was here, but basically, according to what is in the report here, basically almost all of the streets, when they did the survey, reach within that ±5. Okay. That's why.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Can I make just one comment, if I can? So, and sir, and I think the council as well, that the interesting part about this is it's very formulaic at the end of the day. One of the things that we constantly are pushing against is that it doesn't actually take into account a lot of the, what I'll say are our major traffic issues, which are our residential streets and cut-throughs and how exactly they're impacted and what exactly they contribute to our overall traffic flow throughout the city. What I've committed to in conversations with the council and then also with the assistant city manager is that we need to take a better look at what exactly those impacts are on the bigger streets and what exactly those are the issues that they are causing as well. That doesn't fall into this study per se. This is, again, very formulaic as required by the State Transportation Committee. But there is a way to get there, I guess, at the end of the day is what I'm trying to say.
To me, it just seems like a huge street. To be 35 miles an hour is kind of...
Understood.
And I don't know that I can co-sign that either, unless there's gonna be a speed trap over there, but that would be the sheriff, because that's Rossmore. So I think that's my hang-up, is how do you...
Well,
So Los Alamitos Boulevard, the entire width of the street is in the jurisdiction of Los Alamitos.
I get that, but the Bradbury, it's, that's Ross, all on the other side.
Yeah, one side is yes, correct.
Rossmore.
Okay,
Right?
Still Beach, right?
correct.
Still Beach or Rossmore?
But Bradbury comes into the Rossmore Highlands.
Yes.
Isn't it Still Beach past, between Bradbury and
yes.
St. Cloud?
Yes.
Still Beach.
Yeah. What you got?
No, I was just gonna piggyback on what Chet said, because we do have a lot of cut-through streets that are used a lot more than our main streets, particularly Farquhar and 70 as it turns into Bennington, Saratoga, because you can't go straight through on Lexington. And I think we need to look at those because it's just a matter of time before somebody's going to die. I mean, they're going 60 miles an hour down those residential streets.
and those are the areas that I think that we spend the majority of our time focused on. That those are the ones that I think have the most direct impact on what exactly our residents are seeing on a day-to-day basis. Now, all that being said, the formula and the report that's in front of you this evening is the result of, again, formulaic, how exactly do the numbers connect, but again, it in no way forces this council to make a decision one way or the other. You obviously live here, you understand what it's like to have these traffic issues in front of you, and then I'm going to ask just one question of Mr. Noda if there's a time limit on this item, or a deadline, more aptly.
No, there's no time limit.
What I'd like to do then, Mayor and City Council, with your permission, is I'd actually like to invite the traffic engineer to come and provide a little bit more insight as to what exactly these numbers mean and what the overall impact might be at the end of the day. I just think I much rather have you have all the information than vote on something that there's still some open questions about, especially if you're considering going the opposite direction.
I appreciate that, and I believe we started this under Councilmember Hasselbrink when there was something that was this nuanced and formulaic.
Mhm.
Whoever was making the recommendation to the body would physically be here, or at least available by phone.
Mhm.
I don't think it's fair to try to get y'all to answer the questions. It's not your study. So if we could reinstitute that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Not a problem.
All right, great. So then what do we do with G? What do we?
If
taking
it
a
pleases the
candidate?
council, can I pull this item?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then what do I do, Miss Wendy? We pulled it. Moving right along. Next, we will go on to our discussion item, which is the review of the draft annual operating budget for fiscal year 26 and 27, and 27 and 28. So can I get a staff report?
Yes, ma'am. Before I turn this over to Craig to really get into the finer details, I'd like to take a second to reiterate what exactly our budget process is at the end of the day, because it's something that both Craig and I think, are particularly proud of, given the fact that Barb was able to get us an award this last go-around. Only kind of talks about the differences and the changes that we've been able to add to this process in order to make it more transparent for the public, but also to ensure that we're accounting for every dollar, every bullet, every paperclip, and every little piece of thing that we are using out there in the world to make Los Al the place that it is. This all starts back with the presentation of our mid-year budget to the City Council. From there, we start with our department directors who have a meeting with Craig and his team to talk about their goals and objectives for the coming year. This is their first blush as what exactly they're seeing in the market and how exactly things are changing. Then Craig puts together a snapshot of what exactly the budget looks like. He then shares that with me, and then Craig takes turns, and then I take turns beating up our department heads as to whether or not they actually need that particular bullet or that particular paperclip. Once we get done with that, we take this item and we bring it before the Budget Standing Committee, where they have an opportunity to get their first look at this presentation. We then bring that to this board for your first presentation. So this is all by way of saying that this is your first opportunity to see these numbers. If it doesn't inspire questions, I will be shocked. That would not be a good thing. But what we can do, and what I do each year, is we offer the opportunity for each member of the council to come in to sit down with Craig and myself and any director that we need to pull in order to be able to answer specific questions and really drive into the details of what exactly is in each budget. And that affords you an opportunity to ensure that when we get back here in May to vote on a budget, that you have all the information that you need and that you're comfortable with it. I'll remind everybody that today is the first time that anyone is going to see these numbers. It allows for that information to percolate a little bit and then to be able to come back and ask those questions, for us to compile them and then ship them to all of your colleagues so that they're able to follow your thought process and also be able to get a better understanding of what exactly all these numbers mean at the end of the day. So that is our process. I'll turn it over to Craig, but I do want to say two more things before I do. One, which is, since I began my tenure here and Craig began his, we have never had a normal budget year. This is going back to COVID, and then you add in multiple overseas conflicts, recession, possible dips in interest rates, markets going haywire, but we have yet to see a budget, or more aptly a budget season that's been what I call quote-unquote normal. To that end, though, the budget team has been able to really land these numbers very close every single year, to the tune of always having a surplus. And so I have to give Craig a lot of credit for that. The second being that you will see some shocking numbers in this budget presentation, and Craig will be able to allude to them. But I think the important thing to remember is that the amount of activity that this council has generated over the past year has really shown, I think, a spur in the number of projects and programs that we have out there on the streets today. And I think that this budget is a representation of that. And again, happy to say that at least at this moment, before any changes are made to it, we are still running a surplus. And with that, Craig.
Thank you, City Manager Simmons. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city staff, and residents. I'm pleased to present the draft budget for fiscal year 26, 27, 27, 28. Next slide. Oh. Okay, as City Manager Simmons mentioned, the mid-year budget was presented to council on March 23rd. We've then subsequently had meetings conducted with the city manager, department heads, and the city staff. Finance met with the Budget Standing Committee on April 14th, and this draft budget represents a product of these meetings. Next slide. Again, this budget reflects 2 fiscal years, adoption of fiscal year 26-27, and a projection for the second year is 27-28. The city initiated this practice back in 2021. This will assist the city in focusing on short-term and long-term aspects, as well as the strategic portions of the projects and operations planning. It also assists in the development of further financial planning tools that we use. Next slide. Current market conditions and economy. As City Manager Simmons mentioned, this is not a normal budget year. Again, finance has been closely tracking the economy. This budget incorporates information from various sources, including HDL, Beacon Economics, U.S. Treasury, economic forecasts from Cal State University Fullerton, Chapman University, UCLA as well. All of these kind of migrated on the same theme, is that we're in kind of a stagflation period, inflation mixed with slowed economy. Other factors, of course, remain in play. Inflation is uncertainty with tariffs and the effect on the U.S. and global markets. Further interest rates moves by the U.S. Treasury, kind of on hold now. But the main problem we're seeing is the conflict with Iran and other geopolitical risks that are in play. Next slide. The new budget for fiscal year 26-27 is $30.8 billion. Second year out is about $32 million. Next slide. We anticipate the city will continue to experience slow growth, as I mentioned, flattening sales tax, in anticipation that 28-29 will hopefully see a return to a more normal growth rate. TOT ballot measures planned for the November election. We also see that forecasting that property taxes are expected to continue an upward trend, and cost recovery fees are planned with a CPI increase with May hearing. Next slide. Other revenue highlights: CUT at 2.9 million, franchise fees at 1.1, license permits about $1.5 million. Investment earnings, we project that it will be down, a smaller portfolio due to investments in the city projects, investment in city projects, and additional market moves anticipated by the Treasury. Fines and forfeitures estimated at 1.7 million, reflects a return to more normalized level. Again, these costs offset the police programs and activities. Pictorial slide of the revenues. You can see that other taxes, property taxes, and form up over 2/3 of the total revenues for the city. Next slide. Expenditure side, expecting. Let me read this. Expenditures, we're expecting 30.2 million for 26-27, and about 31.4 for 27-28. Next slide. Okay, the proposed budget for 26-27 is higher than the adopted budget for the current fiscal year. This is largely due to previously approved changes to the MOU for salary and benefits. Approximate cost for this was $700,000, and other exceptional programs and services the council has approved and has added. Some of these include the senior program, Sunburst Field, and the EV transportation program. These all totaling approximately $400,000. Additional programs and services have necessitated higher part-time cost to cover these services, which approximate $400,000. Next slide, please. There's also been an increase in contractual obligations and general market increases in materials and supplies. These are driving up higher costs, approximately $500,000. The new budget also includes new general fund CIP, approximately $500,000. Altogether, these new council-approved programs and higher cost of doing business have contributed to the approximately $2.5 million cost differential from the current budget to the adopted budget. Next slide. Staffing changes have been held to a minimum. We're proposing to increase only staffing changes for operational efficiency. There's no new full-time positions being proposed. In Police Division 521, full-time secretary is an open recruitment. Part-time police aide, expectation that another aide will be leaving, so there's no additional cost here. Division 522, police patrol, police reserves, part-time, proposing to add 4. This has expected offsets for reductions in overtime, additional patrol, and increase in revenue from parking and traffic violations, again to offset police programs. Division 526, police community outreach, part-time media assistance, and Division 551, recreation administration, a deputy recreation director. This was budgeted last year but was never filled, and also a full-time recreation coordinator, also budgeted last year but not filled. Next slide, please. A pie chart or pictorial picture of the proposed expenditures. You can see the police, development services, rec make up the majority of the expenditures for the city. And next slide. And then we'll go to departmental overviews.
Thank you, Craig. And so before I go into the departments, I just want to reiterate that staff has done, I think, a yeoman's effort in terms of holding the line when it comes to staffing, identifying where exactly different needs are throughout the city, and being able to shift those resources to where exactly that need is. I think that has proven to be a efficient way for us to do business as we carry forward. And so, again, hats off to the staff for being able to make those changes without having a wholesale of new positions being added. So to start, I'd like to go to the administration department. And if I can just go to the next slide, please. And I'll keep this very brief, as I know that you all know what the administration does. So largely this will constitute myself and the Office of the City Clerk. Obviously this is where we base call it a large part of the strategic thinking for where exactly we're trying to get from a city. Also the goals and the different items that come out of the City Clerk's office with regards to transparency, and then also how exactly we communicate what exactly we're trying to accomplish to the residents. Next slide, please. Some of the goals that remain the same largely as last year. The ones that I'd like to focus on just for today are the ability to continue to expand our efforts to identify alternative funding sources. As council's aware, we do a significant amount of work chasing grants and looking for different opportunities. We also, and it fits in with strengthening our partnerships with our residents and our other businesses and area partners, we've actually undertaken a number of steps this year in order to go at these different opportunities or these different funding sources and identify ones that we haven't really tried to lock into in the past. This also goes to our effort of trying to unlock what exactly some of the opportunities are with the JFTB. That effort is culminating in trips to Sacramento, to Washington, D.C., to really try to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward in terms of what exactly that base needs in order to be successful, but also how do we mitigate that impact on the community at large as we continue to grow. With that, one of the things that is incredibly important to me just going forward is that we continue to strengthen our internal structure of our city. Obviously, this budget and some actions that will be asked of the council to take later on tonight are really about moving people into the correct slots so that we can get the most out of them. And I want to, again, thank the staff for their willingness and their openness to taking on new challenges, changing things that they haven't done before, and ultimately, I know in some instances, taking on jobs that they never signed up for just to be able to get this place where we need it to be. And so, again, my hat's off to them. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the city clerk to have her handle her side of the street.
Good evening. So over the past year, the city clerk's office has made great progress in strengthening transparency, improving communication, and modernizing how we serve our community. We have worked with all the departments to enhance our collaboration, ensuring a more unified and consistent city message across all of our platforms. We have significantly expanded the city's social media reach by consistently posting and collaborating with our partner agencies. This has allowed us to connect with more residents than ever before. Our engagement continues to grow year after year. A key part of our work has been ensuring that the city remains fully compliant with the evolving legislation. We are ahead of compliance with Title II ADA accessibility and well on our way to be fully compliant with SB 707 requirements by the June 1st deadline. This year, we proudly produced the first year of the LosAl Loop. As you all know, it's our monthly printed paper that gets delivered to every doorstep. We think this was a major milestone that helps support our commitment to openness and builds community trust. In addition, we began the comprehensive review and update of our citywide policies with the goal to improve efficiency, consistency, and long-term adaptability. We also kicked off our citywide branding project, laying the foundation for a refreshed, unified visual identity that reflects who we are today. Looking ahead, we'll continue advancing automation to streamline operations, enhance service delivery. We plan to further expand the city's footprint by increasing accessibility and strengthening our presence across all communication channels. Collaboration will remain a top priority as we seek new partnerships with all departments and community stakeholders. Strategically, we'll continue to build out the communications department with well-defined roles and integrated workflows that support long-term growth and elevate the city's unified voice. We plan to launch the citywide branding initiative to create a consistent and recognizable visual presence across all our platforms, including digital, in print, and at our events. And of course, we are fully prepared to conduct the November 3rd, 2026 general municipal election, ensuring a smooth, transparent, and compliant process for 2 council seats and the potential TOT ballot measure. And then we remain committed to full compliance with ADA requirements and SB 707 and anything else that comes down the pipeline to ensure dedication, accessibility, accountability, and legal excellence. We look forward to continuing to deliver these services and strengthening the trust between the city and the community we serve.
Thank you. And with that, I think we're going to move on to admin services.
Thank you. Good evening again. Finance renamed now to Administrative Services. Some of the goals that we were accomplished as we completed. A lot of these now have gone automated or paperless. Accounts payable fully paperless through Laserfish. We manage a cash investment portfolio over $20 million. Purchase orders, we issued $8.48 million in purchase orders, 180 purchase orders issued during the year. We also received the first time ever GFOA Distinguished Budget Award for 25-26. Next slide. This represents the new org chart with finance now including human resources. Next slide. Some of the goals for administrative services for 25-26, paperless timesheets and implementation of the UKG payroll. 95% digital footprint now, eliminating paper resources and time. We're completed a banking RFP and we're in the selection process. This will reduce cost and modernize our processes. We have a cashless processing and mobile credit card readers that are used primarily by recreation. As I mentioned, first time GFOA Distinguished Budget Award for fiscal year 25-26, and timely filing of the ACFR and audit for fiscal 25-26. Looking forward for fiscal year 26-27, CSMFO Meritorious Budget Award, the first time ever. Accounts payable automation, reducing checks cut with savings on postage, staff time, and AI invoice capturing. This is future to come. Digital PAFs, reducing staff time to backdate department changes and allow for system tracking and accuracy. And other modernization of ERP financial systems planned for fiscal year 27-28. Next slide. Some of the achievements, the GFOA Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the ACFR for fiscal year 23-24. We're anticipating an award for fiscal year 24-25. Again, mentioned the GFOA Distinguished Budget Award, first time ever for fiscal year 25-26. And we're anticipating continued participation in this and award for fiscal year 26-27. We remain at a AAA credit rating, investment portfolio earnings that were received over $1 million, and we're now 95% paperless workflow, including digital footprint. Thank you.
Next, we have Development Services.
Again, good evening, Council. Development Services. So Development Services is 7 divisions there. As you can see, we have Building and Safety, Public Works, Planning, Engineering, Fleet and IT Services, Neighborhood Preservation, and Economic Development. It all flows into one department. Next slide. Development Services, our mission is the physical development of the community through 2 primary divisions, which is Community Development and Public Works. And so, you know, we develop long-range visions for the city. We maintain the city. We plan, design, operate, you know, the city. So it's a pretty big department in terms of maintaining and keeping it clean and a pleasant environment for everybody. Next slide. You can see the department structure right there. Again, it's quite a few employees there because of the different divisions that we have. Again, planning, neighborhood preservation, building and safety, economic development, and public works and engineering. We also house a myriad of support staff and a couple analysts as well in our department. Next slide, please. The first division here that we're going to go over is the building and safety. It's committed to protecting the health, safety, and welfare of the city. They go out there and ensure that all construction within the city complies to building codes, laws, and regulations. And so some of the highlights there you see is in 2024, permits issued was 78. In 2025, we jumped up to 107. Plan checks, 25. And 25 is 31. The big one there is inspections. We did 540 inspections in 2024, and we jumped up to 1,945 in 2025. And NPDS inspection as well, we do in this division, 68. Next slide here is the objectives for the Building and Safety Division for this upcoming fiscal year. Is to collaborate with other divisions. We want to do a premier service program. This will entice businesses to come into the city. So it's a one-stop shop. So typically when a business comes in, they'll have to talk to the Economic Development Division, the Planning Division, the Building and Safety Division, sometimes the Engineering Division to kind of go over different items. Business license to tenant improvements, to off-site improvement, that's our Engineering Division, to planning, sometimes they have to do a CUP or anything like that. So what we want to offer is a one-stop shop where we come here and do a premier service where they come in and sit down with every one division and knock it out at one time. And again, there will be, expectations from the divisions to speed along. So one example here in the building and safety is the expectation is they will do their first review of any building and safety checks within 14 days. And again, if you go from city to city, that's unheard of and stuff. So again, in 2025, they have met that mark. Another thing that we're going to do in the building and safety is upgrade technology to make, again, operations faster, smarter, and more efficient. We want to implement and expand a digital plan review, e-plan software, integrate GIS to track permits and inspection, and adopt mobile inspection tools for real-time notes, photos, and approved tagging. We're even looking at, so when you do a roof or an AC unit our building and safety inspector has to actually climb the roof. And so, you know, that's dangerous, even though they're certified. So we're even looking at in drones to go up there and do the inspection, so they could video up with the drone, so they don't have to climb on the roof. So again, we're just trying to upgrade our technology to, you know, 2026 and beyond. Economic development. The city manager and I have stated in several meetings that economic development is a very important objective for the city going forward. And so some of the objectives there. Oh, the slides are backwards. Well, business alliance, right? Collaborative partnership between the city and local businesses working to support economic vitality, enhance communication, and promote a strong connected business community. Again, partnering with the Los Alamos PD is a business watch program. Again, they will dive into the details of that. And part of that program too is we're gonna do what we call a lunch patrol, where it's a collaborative effort between PD and our businesses to do community engagement. So the gist of it here is once a month, I don't know what the number is, 4 to 5 police personnel will have lunch at a local business to have that community engagement. We are planning on doing an art program. So probably, hopefully, on the ticket for next month is guidelines for the art program. The art program enriches the community by promoting public art, supporting local artists, and of course, enhancing the city's identity. And of course, as I mentioned before, collaborate with other divisions for the Premier Service Program. So here's some data in the next slide. Pine Streets, we are holding steady because of size. We maxed out at 15 restaurants. The big jump here, and a couple of them here, is Discover Los Al. Last year we had 560 followers. To date, we have close to 2,800 followers on Discover Los Al. So in case the residents don't know what Discover Los Al there is, the social media that highlights our businesses in our community. And then, of course, our business license. We went last year from 1,448 business licenses to this year 2,464. We attribute that to some economic growth and also are partnering, collaborating with our neighborhood preservation to make sure that people actually follow the process and apply and get a business license. The double slide. Okay, we're going to go to engineering next. The engineering is basically responsible for our capital improvement projects. We have slides going further about it, but CIP in 2024 is 11 million. We're holding steady at 10 million. Again, I keep saying this, but before the city manager came into the city, we were averaging about $350,000 annually for CIP, and ever since then, it's been in the millions. So I'd like to thank the city manager for all that work. Appreciate it.
That was an unfailed jab, just so you know. Okay.
No one laughs at my jokes.
Encroachment permits. We did take a dip in that. What an encroachment permit is, whenever anyone does work on city streets, they have to apply for a permit. But as you can see there, we had a jump in wide load permits from 131 to 252. Objectives, again, collaborate with other divisions for the Premier Service Program. Again, it's capital improvement project. I stress to the engineering team, on budget, on time, on budget, on time. And so we will not deter from that goal. Capital planning and funding, again, identify grant opportunities, refine project prioritization, ensure that CIP and maintenance investments are aligned with our long-term community need. And we want to upgrade technology to, again, make operations faster. Right now, wide load permits and encroachment permit are done old school via paper. We'd like to digitize that. Going next slide, neighborhood preservation. It's protecting community character, safety, and quality of life. This division responds to issues such as substandard building and property maintenance, and then again, working collaboratively with residents and businesses to resolve problems and again, prevent the neighborhood deterioration. So in 2024, we had 929 cases generated. This past year, we are up at 1,420. Case closed was 876. This year, we closed in 1,235. The neighborhood preservation does the annual community cleanup, which is coming up in May. Last year we did, in 2024, we did 70,000 pounds that was secured. That's basically, hopefully, taking off alleyways in our streets. And in 2025, last year, we got approximately 117,000 pounds of that. So this is where the MyCityMyLosAl app comes into play. So MyLosAl app, you could do both a public work service request or a neighborhood preservation code violation if you wish. And so again, busy division there.
Before it goes on, I just wanted to thank the council too for your continued promotion of that app. It's actually made things incredibly more successful than, say, someone calling either Ron or myself and saying, hey, we have an issue, simply because it allows us to track in real time and then has an automated response function so that we're actually keeping the person that requested the service informed of what's going on each step of the way. So again, really appreciate your guys' willingness to continue to promote that app as probably the gateway as to how exactly our residents can request services.
Yes, thank you. Before I go into objectives, I want to piggyback on what the city manager said in terms of most of these objectives, the vast majority came up from the team themselves. It wasn't me coming up with them and then basically telling them they have to do it. So in our process, when we started out, I emailed the entire team and said I would like objectives, and they sent me the objectives and we sat down and discussed it. And I'll be honest, they were very ambitious, and I kind of whittled it down a little bit. So again, I want to congratulate or commend the team for coming up with the objectives. Here in neighborhood preservation, support community cleanliness and safety. The neighborhood preservation team wants to do a Serve Los Al project for the upcoming event. I believe it's slated in September. And then because our neighborhood cleanup day is so popular, they want to provide additional community cleanup days. Improve compliance through education. Again, the neighborhood preservation team is not out there to write citations. They're out there to hopefully educate. And if we have a neighborhood, a resident or a business that's non-compliant, then we have to go and step up our enforcement on that. But again, expand outreach efforts to help resident and business understand our muni code and hopefully reducing violations. And then again, expand or implement technology for better, more efficient results. Utilizing digital tools for case tracking, field reporting, and data analysis. This division, except for the MyLosAl app, is still very paper heavy, and we want to go digital. We're going to planning division. It's a focus on shaping a well-designed, vibrant, and sustainable community by guiding land use decision and ensuring development aligns with the city general plan. In 2025, the average time to review and process a building permit was 3 days. Again, unheard of. Average time to review a zoning permit was 2 days, and we had 12 ADU completed in 2025. I want to point out to City Council that ADU will be more and more plentiful as the year comes up.
Yay.
Objectives, we want to develop land use and design standards that create clear and consistent guidelines that when someone wants to remodel their home or build a home, that we have consistent, again, high quality development that hopefully reinforce our city's character and align with long-range planning goals. Expand outreach efforts, implement, again, or expand technology for better results, and then again, collaborate with other divisions for the Premier Service Program. Public Works, this division here is dedicated to maintain the city's essential infrastructure and ensuring safe, reliable service. This is the department that handles the maintenance of the city, whether it's internal or external. As you can see there, the service request in 2024 was 1,500. We jumped up to 1,900, and you can see the trees trimmed. 238 last year, we jumped up to 568. We're removing more trees. We do not remove healthy trees, but you know, sometimes we have to if it's not healthy. And then traffic signal maintenance, we doubled or quadrupled our traffic signal maintenance. Okay? Objective, we want to maintain clean street and maintenance standards. And so we want to put in writing on what is the maintenance standard for streets, for public spaces, and come up with a long-term plan. One example there is we just did, as the council knows, a community center remodel, and we painted the exterior. We have in our plan to paint the exterior every 5 years, so we don't have any deferred maintenance like we had previously for a couple decades. Collaborate with PD to update the city emergency operation plan, the EOP. We want to integrate OpenGov asset management software, so we have it in-house, but we're just diving in, we're just scratching the surface on that. And of course, we want to transition to internet-based irrigation controllers citywide. The last one here is IT and fleet services. IT is basically the city's technology, computers, cell phones, iPads, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is big, and so we are constantly taking a look at that. Our IT, we contract out with a vendor. And of course, fleet services. I believe we have 55 vehicles in our fleet right now, and so Public Works does the bulk of the maintenance. We do the bulk of the auctioning, and we do the bulk of the purchasing as well. One of the things that we've implemented in 2025 was a Get a Permit, which is an online permit system. And you can see the numbers right there. I'm sorry, the fleet says 62 vehicles. I was short, not 55, 62 vehicles. 577 residential parking permits, 556 visitor permits. We have 88 one-day parking permit, and of course 50 oversized. So we launched that in 2025, and so far we're very excited and happy on the way it's progressing. Overall, our accomplishments in development services is great. I'm not gonna really go over the internal stuff. Council, you are aware, and staff is aware of some of the internal stuff that we've done of upgrading our IT, or upgrading our fleet, or upgrading our building, or maintaining our building. But the ones that I want to point out are the ones that you can actually see out in the street. We did 2 parks last year, upgraded fully. We just did new pieces of it. We did all ADA compliancy. We did landscaping, irrigation, the whole thing. And so I'm really proud of that. We've done street striping, street projects. Again, a lot of infrastructure project out in the street that a lot of our residents, hopefully businesses can see out there. So that wraps up my spiel on development services.
Thank you, Ron. I just wanted to mention too to the council before we move on, or before any questions, just there's a lot of what you saw in Ron's slides talk about collaboration. And so it's an easy word to say, very hard to do, especially in a city where everybody is wearing 15 different hats. But I will give a lot of credit to Ron and to his crew for their ability to reach out and work with different departments in order to make these projects better.
Thank you. Can I have one comment real quick? Dr. Noda, can we also add trees planted so it doesn't look like we're removing the rainforest?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a good catch.
Thank you.
With that, I'm going to ask Director Noda to do the recreations and community services.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the City Council. Recreation and community services, our tagline is creating quality of life. Due to the incredible support from City Council and the city team and the Los Alamitos community, our department is thriving. This past year, this team of 80+ staff has consistently produced high-quality programs and events. Next slide. Thousands of participants enter the community center and visit our programs and events annually, with the highest increased attendance in senior services this past year due to the implementation of year 1 of the Senior Services Master Plan. I think I've told the story, some of our new classes, we have like 20 new programs and classes for our seniors, and there are anywhere between 30 to 50 people on wait lists. They are so popular. Our residents get priority 1 week, and then there is a huge demand, and the problem that we have are angry people that didn't make it into the classes. It's a good problem to have, but the quality of the classes are so good that the word is spreading. We have had some challenges this last year out of our control with some of our partner facility closures, but we still managed to find ways to offer our same program or some form of the event. We continue to see increases in facility rentals due to our newly renovated community center completed by Development Services, and we continue to add programs, classes, and keep up with trends and remain innovative. Next slide. This is our organizational structure for our future reorg. It does include a 3rd recreation manager due to Sunburst Field acquisition. Next slide. We are proud to continue to offer core recreation programming in-house that not all cities are able to offer, including aquatics, contract classes, day camp, drop-in summer programs, facility and picnic shelter reservations, preschool programs, senior services, youth and adult sports, youth and volunteer and teen programs, adaptive recreation, thanks to the Los Alamitos Community Foundation. And this February, together with Development Services, we acquired the management, maintenance, and operation of Sunburst Field in partnership with the Los Alamitos Joint Forces Training Base. Our department continues to support citywide grants and partnerships in intergovernmental affairs and the city's legislative platform. Slide. Here's a look of some of our numbers for the last 3 years. As you can see, many of them with a steady increase, or as some numbers stay the same, like in our day camp, for example, we are maxed out each and every summer. Next slide. Some of our beautiful facilities pictured here. Next slide. Thank you to all of you who attend our 20+ events. The crowds continue to grow year after year. We have our program partners, UWS, Memorial Care, that are able to offer our events, majority of our events for free. UWS and Memorial Care, just in our department, both sponsor about $50,000 each plus. Again, just in our department, not to mention other departments. Next slide. Along with our partnerships, we have our Serve Los Al. We just met today, our committee, and the nonprofits get together every month and discuss what everybody else is doing in the community. They collaborate, and then we do our citywide service day on September, this year will be September 12th. We also have our Joint Forces Training Base, our Los Alamitos Unified School District, partner cities, the Los Alamitos Area Chamber of Commerce, and the foundation. I also, at this time, want to take the time to say that our department truly does depend on all of our city team. City Council setting the overall goals and priorities, providing us the means and support of our programs, events, and services. City Manager Simmons for allocating resources and providing leadership and vision. OCFA, always there when we need them and when we call, providing a great presence at our events. Human Resources for helping us hire all of our 80+ staff, 30 each year, that we need each year to encourage, and they also encourage wellness and build and maintain employee morale. Finance for helping us in payroll, paying our vendors and service providers, and working with us on our budget and helping us to go cashless. Our city clerk's office and communications for doing an amazing job supporting us with legislative matters, keeping us on track, and for working with us to improve and streamline our marketing to the highest standard. Our city attorney for being our sounding board and an amazing resource for all legal matters. Development services for keeping our parks beautiful, upgrading them and maintaining them, for keeping our facility clean and safe, for assisting us in lifting heavy equipment at our events and staying until the very end with us. Police department for always keeping us safe and always being there for when we call to help a resident in need, for being present at our events and programs and showing up, knowing that they are there to protect us all and all of our participants. Our Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Commission for supporting us at all of our events, being our cheerleaders and representing the community in Parks and Recreation, and our Community Foundation for their wonderful contributions to our senior programs, Adaptive Recreation, and Weekend of Art for Recreation. Next slide. And so our continued goals this year is the continued implementation of the Senior Services Master Plan, the continued implementation of year 2 of the legislative platform, to promote the city's EV transportation program, LosAl Link, to expand community use at Sunburst Field, and continue to expand in aquatics with private lessons and other programming. And that concludes my presentation.
Council, before you have any, if you have any questions or comments, but I did want to mention also that something that probably doesn't show up as much as it should here, but the undertaking that we have in terms of our intergovernmental affairs approach to working with outside partners really is spearheaded by Director Noda. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how much time and effort that takes, especially with having to deal with the number of different agencies that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis just to get these small little projects going, but then also the timing and the strategy that has to be put in place in order to accomplish the bigger projects that we hope to accomplish here in the next couple of years. So again, Director Noda, thank you for taking on that important duty. And with that, I'll turn it over to the chief to take a look within the police department.
Thank you very much. First slide, please. All right, so the administration division is staffed with 1 sworn peace officer, yours truly, and 1 professional staff employee, my executive assistant, who is here this evening, and we play a critical role in supporting the department's mission. This team ensures the effective and efficient delivery of police services by promoting accountability, strengthening the organizational culture, enhancing morale, and supporting staffing needs. The resources outlined in this budget will allow the division to continue fostering a collaborative and mission-driven environment that upholds the highest standards of public service. And as you can see, some of the areas that we cover, next slide. So I'd like to highlight some of the goals of the administration division. So back in the previous budget cycle, we proposed these items, right? Developing and mentoring supervisors within the organization as part of succession planning. Now, we've been able to achieve part of that in providing relevant leadership training at all levels of the organization, but we want to formalize that mentor process as part of our succession planning, and we have not finalized that yet. We also want to reach full staffing. Now, this is a moving target that changes every year and has been one of the biggest challenges within the police department, and I can highlight some of those reasons why in a minute. But as far as the snapshot of the current staffing is that we have 24 of the 25 positions filled, and if I can really try to dig in on that number. So we have 24 of the 25 that are in our intent to fill. The 25th position was allowed by the city manager, allowing us to fill one at the OCAT, which is the Orange County Auto Theft Task Force. Now, the unique opportunity we have there is that it is a fully funded position, does not cost the city a penny, and it has a specialty assignment for us, which is a carrot that we can dangle as far as morale within the organization. But when our staffing numbers drop, we end up pulling that person back, which we did. So at the recent ATAC awards that the mayor ended up referencing, I made contact with them, and so another city has filled the vacancy that we previously had. So even if we had that 25th body, we would not be able to fill that spot today. That is something that changes with their budget cycle, so they are only allotted a certain amount of money because every time we register our vehicles every year, we all pay money that goes into that fund. That's why the position is fully funded, but they are maxed on their budget. So I've made contact with them again at the ATAC Awards, nurturing that relationship so they can reach out to us when another opportunity may present itself, being that we are so close to being fully staffed. As it relates to the professional staff, we have all the positions filled. And when it comes to our VIPs, we have identified 2 additional positions that we would like to fill within the organization. There's a current active recruitment, and those people are in background, so we think we will have every one of those positions filled before this fiscal year comes to an end. Now, as we look down the road into 26 and 27, the continued pursuit of full staffing, that will always be at the forefront of my primary goal in my position. And then potentially adding a 26th sworn position that we would like to place into a federal task force, which would be subsidized from asset forfeitures. Now, knowing that the 25th spot is a moving target of whether or not when we would be able to fill that position, if you change that number to make this the 25th spot, either or, whichever opportunity we're able to present itself. And then maybe even strategizing on what a potential 27th sworn police officer position would look like, and I will reference that later as we wind down in this presentation. But also, when I looked back at last year's presentation, I noticed how there are certain things that fall under my span and control, and if we go into the next slide, that have not changed, and they will not change, especially with the department of our size. The morale and the culture within the organization are vital. Because if the morale takes a dip or we start changing the culture within our organization, we have seen in the past, in a historical perspective, of a mass exodus out of the department. And so we as a command staff every day are fighting to maintain the morale and the culture within the organization. And we do our best to do that. Right? With morale, last night, the mayor had the opportunity to attend, and so did the city manager, the annual award ceremony that we have. It is one of the rare opportunities that I, as a chief, am able to do something for the people that work for me, to thank them for all the work that they do throughout the year. And as you can see, with our Division Chief Covey front and center on the picture of the culture there, as we collaborate with other organizations to try to maintain those positive relationships to keep our culture high. Now, the staffing and with recruitment and retention is always going to be an issue because we have challenges that we face when it comes to compensation for a city of our size and the ability to try to compete for the same candidates that other cities have. But even more importantly, it's retaining the people that we have, finding ways to keep what we have so that we don't have to constantly be chasing our tail to fill those positions. And when we have all those things aligned, and when we can achieve that and get our staffing levels up, then we get organizational success when all of the departments work together. Because keep in mind, we recently had a survey that went out that shared or shed light on the approval rating of the police department. When you consider the fact that we take people to jail, we write tickets, we've been on the local media lately for the red light ticket system, the parking citations, impounding vehicles. We do all of that, but we're still able to maintain an approval rating as high as we did. That does not happen by accident, right? So this is a total team effort, not only from the city, but especially within the PD to be able to maintain that organizational success.
And what's the rating?
92 or 3?
It's 92%.
92%. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think he wanted me to say that just so OCFA could.
I just want one of y'all.
No, see, I didn't mention that, and I gave him his love for being in the front and center on the picture, but since you said it, it's in the record. And that being said, I'll pass it on now to Captain Gallagher, who's in charge of the operations team.
Good evening, Council. This is Captain Gallagher. I'm in charge of operations. The operations division is authorized for 18 sworn police officers and 4 professional staff members, making it the largest and most visible component of the police department. This division encompasses both the Patrol Bureau and the Traffic Bureau, which together provide the frontline services that directly impact public safety. The core responsibilities included reducing crime, enhancing traffic safety, and improving overall quality of life for the community that we serve. The operations division, staffing, resources, and daily engagement with the public are essential to fulfilling the department's mission, maintaining the highest standard of service, because we are really the face to the public of what they see every day out there. We are the black and whites, we are the uniform, we are the people that show up when you call. And I would like to share that in 2025, 14 patrol officers covering just over 2 square miles handled 19,758 incidents. Of those, 12,970 of them were proactive in nature, which means that our officers were not just responding to problems. They were out there identifying issues, preventing crime, and actively working to keep this community safe. Those actions resulted in 419 arrests last year and improving the quality of life and safety of the people of this community. Next slide, please. For the patrol goals in 2025-26, we talked about evaluating the field training program, something that it's the field training program manual, something that hasn't been updated in many, many years. After several years of reviewing and restructuring, the field training officer's manual was thoroughly updated and approved by post. The revised manual reflects current best practices and provides a modern standardized framework for training newly hired officers, ensuring consistency, accountability, and professional development. We talked about bringing back and re-implementing our reserve program. We created a new policy which was deployed, implemented, published within our policy procedures manual, and recruitment efforts are currently underway for this program to provide a valuable operational support with allowing the department to enhance services in a fiscally responsible manner. We talked about researching and acquiring body-worn cameras, real hot topic, right? Extensive research was conducted and identified that the most effective body-worn camera system for our department was the Axon camera. It was selected based on its functionality, reliability, and compatibility with our evidence management system as well as the evidence management system of the Orange County District Attorney's Office, and allows us to improve transparency, accountability, and digital evidence collection. Now, that body-worn camera program, we were hoping to deploy it, and I'm happy to say that we have acquired all of that technology. It is here and ready to go, and as of this Wednesday, our officers are going to be trained on utilizing that equipment, and it will be out before you know it. Recruit and fill a vacant sergeant and corporal position. We did a comprehensive promotional process, which was conducted to fill a supervisory vacancy. A sergeant was selected following a competitive process that included both internal and external candidates. I was very happy to announce that our internal candidate was successful and that has been doing a good job ever since. Additionally, two corporals were selected through an internal promotional process, and these promotions strengthen leadership continuity and ensure appropriate supervision across the patrol operations, and those promotions will be coming next month. Cultivate, collaborate, and build a morale with team building events. The command staff and supervisors participated in multiple team building workshops designed to strengthen communication, alignment, and organizational structure. Continued investment in leadership development supports morale, collaboration, and effective decision-making throughout the department. So we did a pretty good job hitting most of our goals last year. Anything that we didn't accomplish, it's because it's about to come out, which is the deployment of the cameras, which will be done within this fiscal year. For our goals for 26-27, we still would like to keep on the board to modernizing the men and women's locker room for supporting our officer wellness. As we know, modernizing locker room facilities will improve working conditions and support officer wellness. Providing a professional and functional workspace continues to support the morale, readiness, and retention of our officers. Replace outdated body armor, updated with bulletproof vests, which are load-bearing in nature. We did an inventory of issued safety equipment, identified that several of the ballistic vests that our officers were wearing were outdated. Through a cost-sharing grant that we were able to obtain, the department is replacing this equipment with modern load-bearing systems designed to improve officer safety while reducing long-term physical strain and injury of our officers. We would like to implement a structured mentoring program to develop future leaders and strengthen organizational culture, which I know the chief mentioned earlier. Personnel throughout the department routinely take on additional responsibilities. We are all wearing a lot of hats. And this tends to give us a lot of operational demands. A structured mentoring program will help provide guidance, support, professional growth, and strengthen the succession planning to ensure long-term organizational stability. We'd like to digitize the FTO manual to improve accessibility, consistency, and training effectiveness. The FTO manual that we were so proud that we were able to update is currently maintained in a 3-inch binder, and it takes up every bit of that 3-inch binder. It's a lot of stuff to go over. It's not very conducive of our officers to be able to utilize in a training environment, especially out in the field. We have found a solution that allows us to digitize it and have it on a phone to be able to quickly access and search it as needed. And going to something like this will help our officers and our training officers find information quickly, maintain organization, and improve overall training effectiveness. I'd like to expand community policing by increasing proactive officer engagement with local businesses. This is going to touch on the business watch program that we discussed earlier. Officers will participate in a business watch style program, proactively meeting with business owners to discuss crime prevention strategies and security practices. This partnership strengthens communication and reinforcement collaboration between the department and our business community. We are looking to update the handgun to the newest Gen 5 Glock MOS with red dot optics on it. Many law enforcement agencies are transitioning to an optic-ready handgun platform that is equipped with red dot technology. This system allows for faster target acquisition and improved accuracy, enhancing officer safety and performance during the most critical incident situations. We'd like to expand the police reserve program to increase operational capacity in a fiscally responsible manner. As I mentioned earlier, we were able to develop a policy to help navigate this program, and we are now currently recruiting for implementing officers into this program, which will provide additional patrol personnel who can support our patrol efforts, assist with events and community engagement while maintaining responsibility to our management and budget. Next slide, please. The traffic division also falls under me. Last year, we were able to achieve all of our goals. We talked about acquiring, utilizing new traffic safety enforcement equipment. The department acquired updated traffic safety equipment, including LiDAR devices, lighting systems, and traffic control tools. Many of these purchases were supported through a grant funding program, allowing us to enhance safety capability and minimizing impact on the city's general budget. Increased traffic enforcement utilized by the motor officer for grant funding. Through the OTS grant, we were able to identify target hotspots throughout the city and deploy our resources appropriately. Hire 2 additional police aides. 2 additional police aides were successfully recruited, hired, and trained. These employees now provide valuable operational support, allowing sworn officers to maintain focus on high-priority calls. We also discussed providing 7-day-a-week coverage for our parking enforcement. Historically, although parking tended to be some of our biggest quality of life concerns voiced by our residents, we did not have the ability to provide parking enforcement outside of mostly just the street sweeper. Based on our efforts and the support of the city and the council, we were able to hire additional police aides that we were able to deploy for traffic enforcement to help us support in things 7 days a week, including things like Friday night lights and high school football games that tend to impact heavy traffic conditions. For 2026-27 on the next slide, I'm sorry, that's on this slide. Our goals this year is to expand training and operational capacity of our serious traffic accident response team, or the STAR team. Additional officers have been selected to join the serious traffic accident response team. This assignment requires extensive specialized training, which will be provided throughout this fiscal year to ensure thorough investigations of major traffic collisions and investigations. We're going to increase deployment of the bicycle team to enhance visibility, enforcement, and community engagement. We are currently recruiting for additional officers. This is underway to increase the number of the officers trained in the bicycle development or the bicycle deployment program, because we can no longer just put a cop on a bike and send them out into the field. They now have to go through a very extensive training to learn how to safely operate and patrol on the bike. Getting some memos coming in, and the hope is that we'll use data to analyze the use of identifying effective deployment times and locations where officers can then sign up for additional shifts to address those things at the most appropriate time, maximize our resources. Conduct targeted traffic safety operations combined with community outreach to improve voluntary compliance. When patterns of traffic concerns are identified, the department will utilize not just directed enforcement, but also social media and the traffic trailer to help educate drivers to encourage voluntary compliance before we have to get to the point of issuing citations if we don't have to. Utilizing data-driven software to identify traffic hotspots and strategically deploying enforcement options. We are now going to be using Power BI to identify high-risk locations and guide deployment decisions. This approach ensures resources are used effectively and enforcement efforts are focused where they can have the greatest safety impact for our community. And last but not least, modernizing collision response and evidence collection equipment to improve investigative accuracy and efficiency. The STAR team, which is comprised of 5 different cities, as you know, uses now drone technology and 3D mapping software to accurately document collision scene and collection of evidence. These tools improve the precision of accident reconstruction and support stronger investigative cases in major traffic collisions. Next slide, please. As you can see, last year we did a lot of community outreach. We spent a lot of time doing coffee with a cop, talking to the people that ultimately we are here to serve, doing things like toy drives, Stuff a Bearcat, you see there on the left, talking with our youth about e-bike safety on the right. And the next slide, please. Very happy to say that we finally got our ballistic window installed at the front counter. That was amazing. As you may or may not have known, several years ago we had a troubled individual come into the front counter with a knife who wanted to try to jump the front counter to engage in a suicide by officer situation. And I quickly identified that our weakest point in the department was the fact that we didn't have any kind of protection there at the window. Through the support of the city, we were able to put in ballistic glass. So now we have full coverage throughout the entire front lobby to help enhance the safety of our employees. Last year, we participated in the Every 15 Minutes program there on the right, where we educated our youth on the dangers of driving under the influence. Next fiscal year, since this is an every other year situation, we'll be preparing to do it again. Next slide, please. We had our first DUI checkpoint that we've probably had in, I want to say, about 15 years, and it went amazing. It was extremely successful and boasted some of the best enforcement numbers that they had seen in Southern California the entire year. It was great. They did a very good job.
What quantifies the successful DUI stuff?
So it's funny. I say it a little bit different than them. They'll tell you the most successful DUI checkpoints, you don't have any arrests, because then that means that there aren't people drinking and driving. We all know that they're out there, right? And so simply avoiding checkpoints does not necessarily teach these people or give them the resources they need to potentially address issues that they have. While nobody wants a DUI, if you have a problem and you come through one of these, it's unfortunate that you get arrested, but you also get provided a lot of different resources to help you get through things that normally you probably wouldn't be able to do yourself. So when I see additional numbers of people being taken into custody at these checkpoints, I also see us providing resources to people that normally wouldn't have them. In the middle, we honored one of our detectives there, and Joel received the MAD Award last year for Mothers Against Drunk Driving for having the most DUI arrests throughout our city. And we participated in the Read Across America, where our officers went out and spoke to a lot of the different youth at the different schools, read books, and helped educate them on safety tips. And that's how I think we wrapped up operations. From there, I'll pass it on to my partner. Oh, no, how could I forget the best picture in here? The Bearcat that we worked so hard to get, with a very handsome SWAT commander there at the middle of the picture, has been deployed all year throughout our SWAT trainings, and it tends to be the highlight everywhere we go. It's been absolutely great. And our parking enforcement that has been doing an astounding job actually changed their uniforms last year. They requested some reasonable changes that we felt that we could accommodate. We kind of let them run the pilot, and it was a great experience for them, and they were happy with the outcome, and we were happy to help. With that, I'll pass it on to my partner.
Good evening, Council, City Manager. Captain Luke South with Investigations and Administration. You can see there the areas of responsibility that I have. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. We read that last year. Under Investigations, which is our Detective Bureau, the goals for last year, the first one there is educating our aging community members to better identify internet and phone-based scams. Obviously, it's a horrible thing when it happens. We had a presentation at the Recreation Center last year where we welcomed the aging community to come in, and we educated them on that, as well as collaborating with the city to put out some good information on social media. Contracting with vendors who provide innovative technologies to further criminal investigations and increase data sharing with other police departments. We obtained Nighthawk, which has been an excellent software, as well as Warrant Builder, and we've also been training with some outside agencies on mutual aid. Moving to increasing the numbers of cases successfully closed or brought to resolution. I went to the major cases. We were somewhere around 23%, and from what I've heard from the Detective Bureau, we're at almost 40% now. That's filed cases, so we still need to close cases that, we don't have any leads, but the most important ones are those major cases where we put our maximum effort into. Recruit, select, and train the newest member of the Detective Bureau. That's an interesting one because Detective Joel Espinoza was who we were talking about last year. He's now fully trained, and we actually have a new detective coming in, Oscar Perez, who lands into the Bureau May 3rd. So we'll successfully train him up, and we'll be good to go. Moving forward to next year, partner with an external cyber crime agency. That's the International Crimes Against Children's Task Force. That's what ICAC stands for. It's a pretty amazing thing to train with and to partner with. We've already received a very large computer with a humongous database. This big computer does high quality video. It has enhancement capabilities. Also partnering with them allows us to network with other agencies. And if we have any crimes against children in the cases in the city, they'll provide us with additional staffing to help serve warrants and take those folks into custody. Facilitate effective information exchanges between detectives and patrol officers. We've found a little gap there between the Detective Bureau and patrol operations, so we're going to have the detectives go to the briefings to keep in contact with them, as well as coming up with a folder of persons of interest or BOLOs, things like that. We're trying to just repair that relationship a little bit. Analyze geographic crime trends and other relevant data to support investigations of major crimes. This is our crime analysis and crime mapping. We're looking forward to getting involved in that a lot more coming up next year. Slide. Moving on to records and property and evidence. Last year, we were looking to cross-train police aides and our VIPS team, those are our volunteers, to scan and digitalize historical documents. So they've already been doing it. We have 3 police aides that were trained up and are actively scanning documents, and we're trying to get paperless as quickly as we can. Digitalizing police records, creating a paperless system like I touched on. This is to try and digitalize some of the old archived cases that are starting to deteriorate. We have some at the warehouse. We're trying to get all of those scanned and find out what kind of ways we can transfer those onto sustainable formats. Hire and train police aides to assist with servicing the front counter. We've already hired 2 last year and 1 this year, so the police aides are an amazing asset. They've been handling everything that we need up front. They've been assisting with records. They've been doing the scanning. They've been doing pretty much anything that we ask them to. Moving forward into the 26-27, improve efficiency and public access through an online records request portal. This is something that we would like to get to eventually, because currently, if somebody wants to get a copy of a report, they have to come in, pay in person, show some ID if that's necessary, and pick up the reports in person. Records has been talking to some other agencies, and they have portals that you can request and handle everything online, so we're going to be looking into that. Research and evaluate the feasibility of implementing a civilian records supervisor position. Currently, it's a sworn sergeant. That's our detective sergeant. He has multiple responsibilities and very little formalized training in the records department. So if you look at the industry standard around most other agencies, they have records supervisors, so it's something that we're just going to look at and see if it's feasible for our agency. Complete the accelerated purge of all property and evidence items from 2017 to 2020. So that's basically getting rid of those that have met or exceeded the retention requirements. Obviously, if they're all the way back to 2017, they have. Conduct a secondary review of ineligible items to identify those that may qualify for purge. So some items, if they don't initially qualify for purging, with supervisor approval, we can purge them later. So this is something that the property and evidence team has been doing on an ongoing basis. Moving on. So our SRO, the youth program goals. Last year, we wanted to partner with the school to combat the vaping epidemic. So the SRO sits in on all the counselings when they find those vape pens and the issues that are going on around this vaping situation. They'll bring her in, and she can sit down there, listen to everything, go through it. She's trying to educate the students one-on-one. She'd like to continue and do something a little more formal, get something presentation-wise so that we can spread it to more than just the people that are getting caught with it. Become more involved with after-school programs and groups. She currently assists with after-school events with special needs kids at the high school. She also plays basketball with the elementary school kids. Got some good pictures of that. And she attends many sporting events. Dedicate more time and energy to other schools in the district and not just focusing solely on the high school. High school is still the majority of where we need to be, and that's I think pretty obvious. But a couple days a week, she's been spending time at the intermediate schools and the elementary schools. She tries to hit them on their lunch hours and spend 30 to 60 minutes just when there's the majority of the kids out there. Attend advanced training for juvenile sex crimes and programs geared toward assisting and educating youth. Lizette Sanchez, our SRO, is attending this week the 24-hour or 3-day course in San Diego on juvenile sex crimes. She's also been doing a lot of online courses regarding school safety and threats. The online courses are great because they're usually free. She can work them around her schedule, and it's really just enhancing her knowledge. Moving forward, we want to collaborate with the district to educate and mitigate risk related to social media and AI image generation. If you're not familiar with that, it's a real problem right now that keeps giving. These kids are getting really good with computers, and they're taking faces and putting them on things, and it's pretty awful. So she's got a PowerPoint presentation that she's planning on doing, as well as the one-on-one when kids get caught doing these things. Support school attendance efforts and reduce truancy across all campuses. So she's already talking with the kids who are missing school. What she's trying to do more of is figure out the why. Why are they missing school? Working with not just the school staff, but the parents, trying to bridge that gap. It's not a huge issue, but it's something that we just want to keep an eye on moving forward. Provide ongoing education on substance abuse prevention and decision-making skills. She's got a PowerPoint scheduled for next fall for the middle school, followed by a kickball game. So she's trying to do like education and enforcement and still make it fun, especially at that level. Strengthen relationship between students and law enforcement through regular engagement and mentorship. This is every day. This is walking up and down the halls, being present, not just the SRO, our VIPs that go to the school and make themselves appearances, and then also our officers that go by. The next slides here, you're going to see pictures of our successful investigation there on the left. You can see that's our SRO right there, giving a sticker to a young child. The next one is records. That's our 2 full-time record staff, Gina and Belinda. That's our property damage room. It's probably the nicest room in the entire police department. Looks fantastic. Thanks, Ron. And then the next 2 is there's some examples of our organizational success. I really like the one on the right there. You can see that Lizette's made it on the news, the walk to school day. So, and with that, I'd pass it on to my partner, Robert.
Thank you, Council, Mayor. I'm the last presenter before I hand it back to the chief. I promise I'll keep it quick. I only have a few items. But if you can indulge me for a second.
Veronica, I'm waiting on you.
But if you can indulge me for a second, I want to go off script a little bit and recognize my successor. As you know, I came from OCFA, and so I want to formally recognize Chief Covey for his 2nd place in customer satisfaction. Okay. That's payback. So thank you for indulging me on that. Again, Robert Acosta, Support Services Manager. You can see those are the many hats that I wear, just as all my peers do and colleagues in the city. We can go to the next slide. And I'm going to start off with emergency management. Just real quick, emergency management, you're basically a party planner for a party that you hope never comes, right? And so, but as being that's the hat I wear, you know, this city will be ready if the party does show up. We're not going to be caught with our, we'll be ready. There you go. I really went off script, didn't I? So the first one is increase, like the chief, I'm going to start with last budget goals and then talk to you about the future goals. So increase functional EOC specific training. We expanded our position specific training within the EOC. We built greater depth and technical proficiency across all areas. And so as we keep building it and keep going through the reps, we identified the holes in our swing. And the next, as we keep building our team, it's just getting better and better. And now we have a true EOC manager and one of our people that just became state certified. And also, by increasing the proficiency of this team, it's going to allow us to work with Ron's shop, Director Noda's shop, to develop the EOP, Emergency Operations Plan. The next bullet item is conduct a full-scale EOC drill. Last budget cycle, we did this. We did a city EOC drill where we tested our communication systems and staffing, and we did it in realistic conditions. The exercise helped us identify, just like I said earlier, some holes in our swing, and we had our volunteer group put up a repeater on top of 3801 Katella that helps ensure that we have clean, clear communications throughout the city. And that came at nominal cost because our volunteers are proficient and they do it at a low cost, and it just makes us a lot safer. Also, last cycle, we wanted to participate in a large-scale EOC drill. Last year, we did the cyber attack with the county, where the county did an exercise where there was a cyber attack. We had no internet communications, and so we had to go back to that tertiary communications, and so it was an excellent exercise, and that's what motivated the smaller one. We also want to update our EOC capabilities, our IT capabilities to meet or exceed best practices. So when there's no cyber attack, most of our EOC functions are done using the internet and a platform called Web EOC, and we've trained multiple people across all the different departments to be able to use Web EOC, and we periodically use them to exercise the platform on the first Tuesday of every month. And then we wanted to continue to work to establish a West County EOC or Emergency Response Center on the base, and we keep working with that. I work with different departments of the city staff to keep pushing that ball forward. And then moving on, we go to the future. We want to continue to add to our EOC team with advanced training and credentialing. We did, like I said, we got the California Emergency Manager Certificate on board now, and we're also going to leverage one of our patrolmen who has the Master's in Emergency Management to solidify our logistics section, which will give us a solid team all the way across the board. Next cycle, we want to conduct a full-scale EOC drill in the region, and we're going to simulate a tsunami. That one obviously won't affect us when the wave comes, but we are clearly in the evacuation zone for the coastal cities, Seal Beach and Sunset Beach, and we have to respond to that or be ready for that. And then we're also going to participate in a large-scale regional EOC activation. This one's going to be, again, county-wide, and it's going to be an earthquake drill back in October. So that's the future. So next, oh, we're over there. Okay, volunteer services. Good job, Barbara. So we're going to provide, our goal was to provide quarterly training for our VIPs. We have done that. We've implemented quarterly training for our volunteers and police services, and this strengthens their skills. It creates good camaraderie, but we're teaching them everything from CPR to how to set cones out in a traffic pattern for us if we ever have a big accident. So they're all trained up, and we keep them current. Last cycle, we wanted to recruit for 2 more VIPs. As the chief touched on, we were able to add them, and so now we have a total of 9, and that's been, I know you've seen the VIPs around town. They're a tremendous amount of help for us, and we're really fortunate they're with us. And then also last time we wanted to expand the capabilities of the VIPs of the VIPs themselves, and we expanded the scope to take on new responsibilities that were not previously assigned. That includes things like the Citizens Academy, facilitating that, and then also working them on the front desk. So we keep expanding their scope, and that's been very helpful for the police department. So next cycle, we want to hire and train 2 new VIPs. So we want to take that to a total of 11. And next, we'll complete the onboarding of those 2 VIPs that are currently in background, and then we currently have another recruitment going right now. This is just to keep our team current, and we're expanding our recruitment by going to the colleges and getting a younger group of volunteers that are career-minded in law enforcement. So hopefully they stick around. Next cycle, we plan to fully transfer the Citizens Academy to the VIP team and have them facilitated. As you know, one of our VIPs, Bruce Murphy, was key and coordinated this year, but he's going to actually run the whole thing next year is our goal on that. Also, we're going to conduct another CERT Academy. That's going to be in July. The CERT members, they kind of go unseen and unheard of, but they're super helpful. For example, as Captain Gallagher was talking about the DUI checkpoint, we had 6 of our CERT members out there in the yellow vests, and they helped facilitate the event and support our officers. And they love it. They're out here till 2 in the morning, I believe. Yeah. And then the big one that we're going to get off the ground is to implement a neighborhood watch program. It we had to pause it a little bit and really refine it to meet our needs for this community. And I plan to have a detailed presentation for you in June, or as maybe July, but hopefully June, with the full implementation by August. And we'll give you all the details of what those modifications were and the rollout, because we're going to roll it out in phases rather than try to go through the whole city. So that's that. And then the community engagement is my last item. So we're going to, last cycle we wanted to introduce the armored personnel carrier that Captain Gallagher spoke of. So we set up a couple public events where we presented it and we advertised it. And it's like Captain Gallagher said, it's the belle of the ball wherever it goes. And so, but it also provided the residents to better understand the purpose of that and how it's good for not just officer safety, but community safety. Because you look at it, if it comes into the community unannounced, it obviously it can raise a ton of questions. But we did a good job of getting the public to know. Let's see, we're going to refine the Citizens Academy content. Was one of our goals. We did that. Councilman Lowe got firsthand look at that. We took the input from the first academy, we applied it to the second academy, and we're going to do the same thing for the third. But the academy has just really been nothing. It's been a positive tool for us to create advocates, get our message out, and just buy some public equities, what I call it. Next, when we go to future, I want to add a part-time social media assistant to the police department social media team. And next fiscal year, we plan to add the part-time social media coordinator to support and expand our outreach efforts. So the value of having somebody that is young, current, and understand the trends is been proven invaluable with our intern. We have an intern who, if you guys follow us on Instagram, you'll see the quality of our posts went up. We've gone from just 1,000 followers to over 25,000 followers. We've gone from 30 or 40 likes per post to well over 100, and there's 1,000 views and multiple shares. So it's really gone up since we've had somebody that they really understand posting cycles and when to collaborate and when not to. We're also going to expand the digital engagement through social media, short-form video, and real-time updates. We aim to continue to expand that digital engagement by leveraging our social media, short-form video content, and real-time updates. This approach will help us reach a broader audience, keep the community informed as events unfold. Again, increasing transparency and accessibility remains a key priority for that program. And then the last thing, or not last thing, two more things. We're going to implement the regular community feedback mechanism. So this is to provide feedback to the community, or have the community provide us feedback. And a couple of those mechanisms that we're going to use is we're going to have a town hall. I think you've heard us talking about that. In June, we'll have a town hall to talk about our efforts and different programs that are going on. But we hope to do that to strengthen trust by creating two-way dialogue with our residents. So, and then lastly, we're going to increase visibility of our specialized units, the K9, SWAT, traffic, et cetera, through different demonstration and events. So we're already have plans for not just Coffee with the Cop, but some other community engagements where we'll have the K9 unit out there or the SWAT vehicle and doing some demonstrations. So we plan to increase this visibility with these specialized units through community demonstrations. That's all I got. I'll kick it back to the chief.
Okay, we can go ahead and forward through the next slide.
It's the same thing. Okay. Is this the first one?
Second.
Okay, second?
Oh, there you go. No, that's
First
the first one right there.
Okay. So here, just some examples of the things I was talking about. Our VIP members, there's just a force multiplier. This is a great example. We're able to stick our VIP members in there, and in the past, we'd have to use, an officer would have to stand there, and we ran the risk of him getting a call and having to run out. But they come in, they do it, and they do a great job. And they're, like I said, force multipliers. We do the special events. This is Coffee with a Cop. We showed this one earlier, but it's the continued effort to reach out to our community. Next slide would be, there's some training. I talked about the quarterly training of our VIPs. That's that picture on the left. They're with our SWAT officers learning SWAT operations, and if we take them out there for support, what our expectation is for them to stay safe, stay out of the way, but still provide assistance. And then on the picture on the right is our command post. That's that party planning that we talk about, right? We got everything ready to go, and that was a mobile EOC for the recent walkout at the high school. So typically, as you know, our EOC is in here, but we know the march concluded here, and that's not a ideal situation to have your EOC where the march is going to be. So we set up the mobile one and went to the parking lot over by CIF headquarters. Next, there's the VIP team at one of the community events with the Bearcat, and then organizational success is just, I mean, we have the morale in the department's I feel is pretty high right now. We've got this picture of all our people wearing the K9 shirts with Elvis, but there's always a always a crowd pleaser. And that's, I think that was, yeah, okay, back to the chief.
Okay, all right, before I round us out on the PD side, quick couple of notes. I wanted to say thank you to Craig and Barb. Once we identified that the vests, the body armor that some of the officers had was reaching it or had passed its shelf life, finance did an amazing job within the confines of our procurement process, was able to prioritize that and get that done as soon as possible. So I wanted to thank finance for that. Captain Gallagher talked about the Gen 5 technology with the red dot optics. So this is, not only is this considered a best practice, this is actually what they're teaching the officers in the academy. So if any of you have any questions about that, I'm sure that he can meet with you individually. We don't want any Brown Act implications here, so he can have each of you come in and he can kind of show you maybe what that is and how it works if you have any questions about that and why we want to move to that system. And the challenge that we have with filling the reserve program is because of the PERS annuitants. So we're going to have to start thinking outside the box, a way of recruiting people, because there's so many challenges with bringing in somebody who's currently in the PERS system to try to become a reserve officer. So we have to think outside the box to fill those spots. And one last one. So we talked about getting the MOU signed with LAPD for ICAC, which is internet crimes. And so when Detective Espinoza ends up driving to LAPD to present them with the wet signatures for the MOU agreement to show, if you think law enforcement is a small world, so he goes to hand it to Lieutenant Robin Richards, who worked in a patrol car with me over 25 years ago. And so that just goes to show you the relationships that we build and the positive contacts that continue to pay off. So as we head in to finalize this out, the challenges that we face, if we go into our last slide, is the recruitment and the retention. That's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be there constantly, having to make that an effort, and things that we can do collectively as a team and even as a council to try to help us address these recruitment and retention issues. The evolution of our peer support and wellness program. So we want to be on the forefront of this. And 5 years ago, when I went to command college, we talked, I presented about this, and it was published about an article about this, where we want to try to mandate wellness checks. But obviously that creates issues with the POA in having to mandate somebody talking about issues that they may have. And so we have created a 2-year rollout where the first year is going to be voluntary, where we have healthcare professionals inside the building to be able to meet with our officers. And then the second year is when we will actually mandate this. And this is an attempt to try to ensure that we are doing everything we possibly can to ensure that we do not have an officer ever think that taking his own life is an option, which is prevalent in our industry. Another way is leveraging technology. We talked about the body-worn cameras, which are going to get implemented. LEFTA, which was on the consent calendar earlier today, where we're taking multiple platforms and condensing them for internal affairs investigations and training and things of that nature. And we've already had a presentation done for the UWASI grant, the same grant that provided our armored personnel carrier. The City of Seal Beach took the lead on presenting to the UAG board, the Urban Area Working Group, to have drone as a first responder program within the Tri-City. Between the three of us, that project has been approved, and it will be moving forward. And so the basic premise, I mean, it's well down the road, and Captain Gallagher will fill you in as we get closer to that. But basically, it's going to be having an inbox system that will be on top of the police department of each of the PDs, of us, Seal Beach and Cypress, which will be able to respond in real time to be able to gather information, and maybe even preventing an officer having to respond at all. But that's coming down the road. Some of our goals, obviously, it's been mentioned here by multiple departments, in prioritizing the ability to have a West County EOC located on JFTB. I've talked about adding a 26th position to be subsidized through asset forfeitures and on a federal task force. And that 27th position that I've been talking to the city manager about since I've been here, because in my prior life I oversaw a police athletic and activities league, and seeing the value. If you think we have the highest approval rating in the city now, if you can approve this 27th position, or a PAL coordinator, a police athletic and activities league, which is an after school care, it's like a boys and girls club where an officer is there firsthand, it will exponentially increase the approval rating of us. And we've even talked about the format. I've talked with Director Noda about the potential of utilizing some Parks and Rec personnel, some part-time coordinators working with a sworn officer. And whether it's in the current footprint we have now or in the new footprint at JFTB, and rolling out that system. And it does everything from assisting them with homework to introducing them to fitness, and cardio, because those things have been deteriorating in the school system over the past decade. And so I've seen firsthand what that program can do. And then, of course, completing the renovations in the police station, once again, whether we end up staying in this footprint or moving on to a new one. If we do, then that will cover that issue. And then, of course, re-implementing the police reserve program, which I think will be a force multiplier within the PD. I've expressed some of the challenges. So as we move forward, just to kind of earmark that, as it relates to budget, in thinking outside the box, we realize that we're going to have to lean on potential retirees from LAPD, Orange County Sheriffs, LA County Sheriffs. So we may have to financially look at working with their police officers associations and unions in periodicals that they send out to those large organizations every month in an attempt for a recruitment effort to try to get them, since they will not have the PERS implications of the PERS annuitants, those challenges that we have for them to potentially come over and work as a reserve our city. And that's the goals for 26, 27.
Thank you, Chief. And Council, before we move on to capital improvements, I'll just say that, you know, I clocked the PD's presentation at 51 minutes. All that being said, there's an importance to this. One of the key challenges that we faced when we started talking about where we wanted the city to go was public safety as its core. And one of the things that the chief and I have talked a lot about is being deliberate with our intentions and what exactly we're trying to accomplish at the end of the day. And the main takeaway is we can fix any problem that you point out today. The question is, how do we ensure that it's not a problem 2 months down the road? And so there is a structure, I'll call it a strategic view of where exactly we're trying to get to. And I think the chief and the command staff are really trying to hone in as to what exactly are the pathways to get to a success, but how exactly we sustain that success going forward. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Noda to run through the CIP project.
Didn't Veronica, you have something? I swear he drug you out here, mentioned you by name, and assured us that you had some note cards. Did they cover all of your stuff? Do you have anything that you need to? So
She
you
is
just
here.
You're joining us for a lovely view?
So we brought the whole management team. Depending on what your question may be, it may be in her wheelhouse.
Gotcha. I'm not thinking of a, matter of fact, I'm going to take a point of privilege and just say, because it is 8:30 and we are not done, I would ask my colleagues that whatever your questions are, go directly to that director, because we're being offered one-on-ones, just utilize them. I think that would be best. We can come back together, we can talk about whatever it is that you would like to share. But is that amenable? Does anybody have oh, praise God. Okay, so now you can, sometimes you gotta shout, Chet, and I'm going, come on. Okay, go.
With that, Dr. Noda, you're on the clock.
All right. Again, good evening, council. CIP, capital improvement projects, largely multi-year and grant funded with the multi-year. Approximately this coming fiscal year, 26-27 is about $10 million, but out of that $10 million, again, it's multi-year. General fund money is $2.4 million, with other funds being 1.3. Next slide. I'm not going to go over every detail here, but a couple of things I want to highlight here is one of the big projects is our Pine Street project. We received a grant for $5 million, and so that's the reimagination of Pine Street over there in our downtown sector. The other one here I want to talk about is we strategically try our very best to strategize and get the most bang for our dollar here. So one of those here is we're combining the street improvement projects of 25, 26 along with 26, 27. Again, if you have more quantity of asphalt, more quantity of concrete, a lot of times they will lower the cost of that, and so that is a strategy. And so again, we'll go to the next slide here, which is again the continuation. So again, up and down, it's basically some shelf-ready projects, some actual stuff that our residents and our businesses will see out in the street, like street striping. Again, we're doing a street project, but then also some internal stuff. One there is hopefully we're gonna finish this year after a decade plus is our emergency generator project. That will, again, in terms of emergency times, and I know PD will be very thankful for that, especially Support Service Manager Acosta over there, is we will not go down in power. We will have power to power up our police department, our IT room, and even our public works facility as well. The one thing that I want to mention of why we're being so strategic here is flat line, bottom line, cost is a concern, right? You know, when a lot of things, especially street project, has oil, gasoline in it, and with the conflict that we have around the globe, it's affecting our prices here in terms of construction. And so one example I want to bring up here is we did the Oak Street project, the RFP, before the conflict occurred, and our bids actually came in under our engineering estimate. And so we had a cost saving there. We are right now currently out to bid for the Reagan Street project. Again, street project with asphalt. Asphalt, one of their main component is oil and gas. They are telling me that we will be coming over budget on that. The bids will be coming in. And so we got to cross our fingers and see. But in case of that, we have to make a decision. I have to sit down with the finance and the city manager to come back to council, say that ultimately, do we reject the bid because it's over the amount that we estimated, or do we ask for council to appropriate additional funds to complete that project? So again, I just want to make sure to tell council that even though the plan here is to do every project on there on budget, on time, we will be facing challenges financially because of what's going on, whether it's tariff, whether it's a CPI increases, whether it's, again, oil, gases, conflict around the world. And so I just want to make sure that we are trying our best to strategize and, again, keep the bank the most money in Los Alamitos and being efficient with it as best as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Craig?
Sure. In wrapping up here, some other important budget considerations. Funding will continue for the UAL paydown. This, remind council, this was approved by council back in, I think, 2025. This consists of $260,000 annually. This is called an additional discretionary payment, or ADP, plus $50,000 monthly installments to the trust. As of the end of March, there was $1.5 million has been applied, set aside toward reducing the UAL. CalPERS and changes to the UAL. Current study called the ALM is underway. Changes will become effective July 1st, 2026. We don't have those of yet. But some potential changes to wage growth rate. It's at 2.75. That could potentially go up. Discount rate at 6.8%. That could potentially go down, and mortality factors would decrease. All these influence the city's UAL. Finance will be monitoring these and reporting back when information becomes available. Next slide. The budget represents the city's 6th consecutive structurally balanced budget. If adopted, it will also be the 6th straight budget to include a surplus. The projections for fiscal 27-28 reflect surpluses. The city is continuing to pursue and utilize grant funding where available to accomplish CIP projects, including facilities, streets, bike lanes, parks, and technology upgrades. General fund reserves continue to be used to fund multi-year CIP. And in summary, fiscal impact, the budget projection and estimate for 26-27 and 27-28 are balanced, reflect small surpluses for both fiscal years. Thank you.
So, Madam Mayor, with your direction, any council members that are interested, and I encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity to schedule a one-on-one meeting with with Craig and myself, and then obviously we can pull in various department heads as needed in order to answer any specific questions that you need. I'd ask that you schedule those through the city clerk's office with the goal of a May adoption, understanding that the city charter requires us to have a budget in place by the end of that month. So, and with that, that concludes our presentation. And
what you need for me to move on to whatever's next? Nothing? Okay. We accept your terms, City Manager. So we're going to B, the resolution for personnel changes for non-represented. Can I have a staff report, please?
yes, ma'am. This is largely putting in place the new position, or more aptly, the refined positions of the Admin Services Director, incorporating those different job duties. So there's a new job spec and obviously a salary component that goes to that. The City Clerk and Director of Communications, in order to bring that the salary for that position to market, and then also the creation or reclassing of a current position into the community outreach and communications manager. If the council has any questions, obviously I'm here to answer them, but I know that the city attorney needs to make some comments prior to any vote that takes place. So I'll ask if there's any questions at this time.
Questions? All right, do your thing, city attorney.
Great, thank you very much. So, because this item does involve local agency executive compensation, SB 1436 requires that an oral report be provided prior to you taking action on this item. The salary and compensation, well, the salary schedules related to these three positions are included as Exhibit D to your staff report this evening. If the item is approved, the city clerk / director of communications would receive a monthly salary in fiscal year 25-26 ranging from $10,597.60 at step A to $13,012.13 at step E. The admin services director would receive a monthly salary of $13,740.13 at step A to $16,849.73 at step E. The community outreach and communications manager would receive a monthly salary of $9,549.78 at step A to $11,607.82 at step E. As with the other positions noted in the salary and benefit resolution, these positions would be eligible for a 3% increase in base salary in fiscal year 26-27 and a 4% increase in fiscal year 27-28. These employees will receive the same benefits as are provided to other executive management employees as set forth in the salary and benefit resolution. That's resolution 2024-13, which is made available on the city's website. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. The only question I think I have is there a, and I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like, it's a buffer between the
Compaction. Yes, ma'am. We have identified those and we have worked them into the salary schedule as present. We will continue to refine those as we go through and look at the entire salary schedule as a whole. But yes, this is a short answer.
Okay, okay. Are there any other questions? If not, can I get a motion?
I'll move it.
Your second? Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Moving on. Now for our public hearing, this is item 13. This is the annual AB 2561 reporting vacancies, recruitment and retention efforts. Can I get a staff report, please?
Yes, ma'am. This is the item that is required by state law, AB 2561, where it requires cities to identify vacancies and make sure that they are reported to not only the state but also to our local unions in the event that we are above 20% threshold. I'm happy to report that we are nowhere near that threshold, so that is good. If the council wishes, we have a staff report and a presentation that we can do at this time.
Just because I know it's by law, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. And I'd ask Chelsea Wilson to go ahead and provide the report.
I'm just going to jump right into the presentation if that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So this is AB 2561. We introduced this last year to address the issues of job vacancies in local government, which adversely affects the delivery of public service and employee workload. Among other requirements, the bill mandates that public agencies present the statutes of vacancies and recruitment and retention efforts during a public hearing before the agency's governing body at least once per fiscal year. So I first want to introduce that the Human Resources Department, we recently rolled out to all of our employees the Thinking the LosAl Way. So you have the cards that are up at the dais. This message is posted on our website in the HR page, and it is also delivered to all of our employees when they're hired. And this states that at the heart of our work it is a shared commitment to how we show up for others, for one another, and for the community we serve. To help ground us in the commitment, we align our daily work around LosAl, a simple set of values that guide our actions and our decisions. So L is lead with respect. O, we own our work, we serve our community, act with integrity, and we learn and grow together. So this is just something that keeps us thinking about each other and one team. Thank you. So here is our general workforce information, and as a reminder, this is 2025, and this is a calendar year of 2025. So we're talking last year. Here is a list of our staffing levels at the department breakdown, full-time and part-time. We had 79 full-time budgeted positions in 2025. We had 74 full-time employees at the end of last December. And again, like City Manager Simmons said, AB 2561, if vacancies in a single bargaining unit meet or exceed the 20% of authorized full-time positions, the bargaining unit can request more additional information from the city. So, yeah, next slide. So that's it. So our general vacancy information, you can see here again that the 79 is our budgeted authorized full-time positions in 2025. That's in the middle of the graph. And you're just gonna see the non-represented, the Teamsters and POA, and that at the ending in December, we had 5 vacancies, and our average vacancies at the end of each month, the average was 5.8, and that's well below the 20%. Next slide. So our hiring issues, just to call out any hiring issues, this slide is intended to satisfy the requirement that a city identifies any necessary changes in policies, procedures, and recruitment activities that lead to obstacles in our hiring process. And we have reviewed our applicable policies and procedures. Overall, the city is in a great place for our recruitment and retention. Our goal is to strengthen employee retention across the organization by providing clear, attainable career pathways and meaningful professional development opportunities. We want to position our organization as a long-term employer by choice, and where employees can build and sustain their careers. Like every other city, we have identified the competitive job market. We like to attract qualified candidates, and that seems to be a remaining challenge. However, we are receiving a high applicant volume since we have implemented the NeoGov recruitment platform. And so, however, we've identified that the candidates who meet the required qualifications still continues to be difficult. We have also identified that our weekend schedule for the maintenance worker is a challenge for our staff. While we recruit for a specific schedule, some employees find that after they're hired, the long-term fit they choose to pursue other opportunities. And we believe we're making progress in addressing this, and we'll continue to monitor the situation closely. But most importantly, we've not experienced a broader hiring or retention concern at this time, and we recognize that some levels of turnover are natural. Through consistent exit interviews, we're finding that our employees are leaving often often on positive terms and feeling valued, fulfilled, and confident in their decision to pursue other opportunities that are in favor of their family and their personal life. So, yeah, next. Retention statistics for the bargaining units of POA and Teamsters. Our number of vacancies that were created in 2025, we have a total of 9. We had 4 positions that were created that were new positions, and 2 of those were internal promotions. And then we also had a total, we had two vacancies that were created involuntarily and 5 that were voluntary. And then the total turnover rate of 9. And lastly, the last is our bargaining unit breakdown for the vacancy information. You can see that this side satisfies the obligation that we show the number of job vacancies in a single bargaining unit, once again, below the 20%. POA, we had 1 vacancy for last year in 2025, and that was a 4.7 vacancy rate. Teamsters, we had a total of 4 vacancies at the end of December, and it was a 11.8 vacancy rate. Again, I have to remind you that this is a very fluid process, and because people are coming and going throughout the year, but all in all, looking good, and that concludes AB 2561.
Any questions? All right, I would like to, at this time, open the public hearing. I will now close the public hearing. And now I need a motion and a second.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Anything that the city attorney needs to say? We're good? Okay, dope. Oh. So now we will go on to 14, which is an ordinance number 2026-03, commission restructuring. Give me another staff report.
Yes, ma'am. Following the city council study session in March, staff started to put together plans for a consolidation of the planning and traffic commissions in order to obviously gain some efficiencies, but then also to hopefully align the city's planning process in order to be able to take advantage of just the fact that most of the traffic concerns surround new development, and combining those two would obviously allow us to address that issue in a very efficient manner. The item before you tonight is an introduction of an ordinance that would amend the city's municipal code, essentially dissolving the Traffic Commission and the Architectural Review Commission, which has not been used in some time, and assign those duties to the Planning Commission. That concludes my report.
Okay. Are there any questions? Okay.
Really quickly, if you may, for the residents, can you explain briefly how we're going to handle the transition for those, the Traffic Commission does currently exist. We do currently have traffic commissioners. How are we going to make this transition?
I see. So the commission that currently is open for, the Traffic Commission is open for, their terms have all expired at this point. So there was essentially an open board at this time. There is already terms that are in place for the existing Planning Commission. We would allow those terms to run their course and then recruit for new members at that time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Nope. All right, well, City Attorney, read to us, please.
Thank you. Before the City Council this evening is ordinance number 2026-03, entitled, An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Los Alamitos, California, amending Chapter 2.38 and deleting Chapters 2.40 and 2.52 of Title II of the Los Alamitos Municipal Code.
All right, I need a motion and a second.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstaining? Okay. Whew. Now we will move on to council announcements. At this time, council members may report on items not specifically described on the agenda that are definitely of interest to the community, provided that no action or discussion is taken except to provide staff direction to report back or to place the item on a future agenda. So, I'm going to start to my right. Councilmember Lowe, what you got?
Mayor, nothing to report.
Okay, I will go to my left. Councilmember Hibbert.
Thank you. These are definitely of interest to the public. I want to remind everyone of America 250. I announced it in January. And for those not familiar, America 250 marks the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, and is being celebrated nationwide with parades, concerts, historical programmings, and large-scale community events. I personally am a descendant of a Pennsylvania farmer who fought in the American Revolution and am a member of a civic organization, the Daughters of the American Revolution. If you are interested in attending an event, I encourage you to contact your local Daughters of the American Revolution chapter or visit the America 250 website, america250.org. I attended an Airport Land Use Commission meeting, and for those not aware, the purpose of this particular commission is to ensure that the areas around Orange County's airports are safe. This past week, the Joint Forces Training Base airfield managers presented to the commission and described the base's current operations and discussed future expansions. I'm also attending John Wayne Airport's Spring Air Academy. This is the third week of 7, and last week we were given a very detailed tour, behind the scenes, all access of the terminals and shown what is changing. So if you are flying in and out of John Wayne Airport, for the next year or so, you will see significant changes to all of the terminals, including new restaurants, updated retail shops, and a brand new pavilion that is going to be under construction. And the Air Academy, this is how they actually advertise themselves. The Air Academy at John Wayne Airport is a free educational outreach program designed to give a comprehensive behind-the-scenes understanding of how the airport operates. Over the course of 7 weekly evening sessions, participants learn how the airport's technical processes, service programs, and business partners work together to keep operations running safely, efficiently, and successfully. The curriculum covers a wide range of topics, including airport operations, safety and security, finance, maintenance, public affairs, sustainability, and long-term planning. It also offers insights into both day-to-day logistics and the broader strategy behind a major commercial airport. Classes are held at the airport's administrative offices, and participants are expected to attend all sessions to gain the full experience. The program is completely free, though admission is competitive due to the limited space. Overall, the Air Academy is best understood as an insider course on airport management, making it ideal for those curious about aviation careers or how airports function at a professional level. And to apply for the spring session, visit ocair.com. Next, I want to announce an opportunity for our local artists. In the Rossmore Highlands, an original 1962 grape stake wooden fence will be removed and replaced next month, and we're looking for local artists to propose ideas on how to repurpose this historic wood. If you're an artist or know an artist who may be interested, you can contact me. And I will conclude with this. For the next couple of months, I'll be going door to door in the Rossmore Highlands on Reagan Street. So if you're a resident on Reagan Street, I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember House.
Thank you. Starting with OCFA, I'm the chair for their CIP committee. We met this last week and went through our, they split it up, so we went through our 5-year CIP major projects, our general fund CIP, our fire stations and facilities, IT, and fire apparatus. So for 26-27, we approved a $63 million CIP budget, which will be brought to the full board this Thursday and then integrated within our full budget. Just wanted to, I wasn't going to brag about this, but the chief opened the door and then Acosta doubled down. But OCFA Division 1 has a 96% approval rating. And from what I understand, our previous division chief, Acosta, who has left early, was nowhere near that. So yeah, hearts to the OCFA guys. I also attended, not sure why, but it was called a Fire Ops. It's a day in the life of firefighters. So we put on full turnouts, which weigh about 100 pounds or so. We put out a fire in a building with full oxygen tanks and everything else. They said with everything, we had about 150 pounds of additional weight on us, and I don't need an additional 150 pounds of weight on me. We also climbed up the truck ladder with chaps that were steel enforced, so we used the chainsaw to cut open a hole in the roof, and those chaps were to make sure that I didn't cut off a leg. They worked. We rappelled down a 6-foot building, or 6-story building, I'm sorry. That was actually quite fun. And then we did the Jaws of Life and kind of understood the psychological part of the Jaws of Life, where you've got a victim in a car, not sure, if they're gonna live or die, and you've got these loud machines around them and glass and everything. So it was a really great experience. I've done this a couple times now. It's a great experience for board members, and they invited the media to come out and really see why these guys are breaking down at 40 and 50 years old. It took me about a week to recover. So shout out to any firefighter out there. Haven't paid them enough yet. Attended the Spring Carnival, which was awesome. 5,000 kids loaded up on sugar. Was always awesome. Parents were all happy. It was just once again, Park and Rec, they're the memory makers, and there's lots of memories that were made in there. I attended my Cal Cities board meeting. We reviewed some legislation that we are supporting. I'll go over just a couple of them. TRETA is introducing AB 1567, where we would receive a RENA credit up to 15% of our RENA number for the development of senior residential living facilities. Right now, we get no credit for those. We would now get a credit for that. Assemblymember Lori Davis and Diane Dixon are both introducing bills regarding e-bikes, and I've always been a firm believer that if this doesn't come from the state, it's not going to succeed, because you go across the street and you're in Cypress, and what's their ordinances, and then you go to Seal Beach. So they're really pushing hard on trying to get that at the state level. The other thing that development would like is Senator Stephen Choi has a bill that would end the sunset. There's legislation right now that you can use a design build process, and that's supposed to be sunsetting, so he is introducing a bill that would end that sunset. Design build is definitely more streamlined, more cost effective, when you don't have to go out to two bids or anything. And then Saturday I attended the We Care fundraiser. That was always fun at the Navy Golf Course. They raised some good money. Some of the stories there that were just great. They had one lady that she needed rental assistance for 1 month, and that caught her up, and she's been flush for the last 18 months now, 1 month of rent. So it was a great fundraiser. And then with the mayor's permission, I would like to close the meeting in memory of Vincent Cisneros, also known as Vinny. He's been a resident here for about 100 years, maybe, give or take. He worked at Mr. B's forever. He was an Army veteran, just a great guy. In fact, a few of us were able to go over during City of Los Alamitos and do some landscaping. I know the mayor converted a bush into a swan. It was fabulous. So I'm signing her up for bonsai classes next. And so he passed away on Saturday at the age of 87. What is great about our city is on Thursday, I got a call from his son, and he wasn't doing real well. He was on hospice. His wife, Kathy, her health is not real well. They needed food. They needed prepared food because they weren't comfortable preparing their own food. Made a phone call and saw the wheels go into motion. If he wouldn't have passed, we would have had meals for them there every day. And it was a phone call on a Thursday. So I appreciate staff understanding the urgency and the relevance of trying to get these people fed. And with that, that's all I've got.
Pro Tem Nifolda.
Nothing to report.
Thank you.
Okay, so listen, here's the deal, right? we actually are mandated by a rule somewhere, I didn't write it, but when we go to events on behalf of the city, like literally, it's my job to go, I gotta report on it. So the only other option that I have is to change that rule. I go to a lot of stuff on behalf of this city. So, let's be quick. I went to my OCOG board meeting. We did an update on the LA 28 and how it will impact the county and the region. Fun fact, it looks like they're trying to shut down one lane on each of the freeways just for athletes and their families. Let's see how that works. I went to my League of California Cities Policy Committee. I am on the Housing, Community Development, I don't know, but it's housing. And we discussed daycare deserts and grocery store deserts. We are in neither. I attended and participated in the Weekend of Art. Fun fact, I do not like judging things that I am incapable of doing. I understand that it's part of the job, but it makes me feel very awkward. The art presented was glorious, though I will share that. I attended a National League Fair Committee overview meeting to kind of learn more about what that committee offers and to the local municipalities. I attended an OCTA Mayor's Forum for District 1, and I really been fighting with them to try to get more funding to improve our roads, and I think that I found the loophole that is gonna be the winning ticket, getting funding for the roads that surround the base. Nobody's considered it. It's gonna be voted on shortly. I will keep you all apprised. I went to my SCAG Policy Committee meeting. It was a joint meeting. We discussed the outlook for the region for the next 30 years, which sounds crazy, but then when you think about when you were in high school, most of us, it was more than 30 years ago. Then I was invited by SCAG, which is the Southern California Association of Governments, to a harbor boat tour for the LA Port. Now, the LA Port and the Long Beach Port are actually immediate neighbors, and they fight over boats and cargo and loads. And right now, LA Port is winning, but they were explaining to us how both ports impact not just our region, but the nation. So it was pretty wild and gnarly. And when you see those boats up close and personal, one of them, I got the film of it, it's, you had to turn like this to catch the entire boat. Like, it was glorious but terrifying. I was invited to the JFTB to kick off the Stronger Together 5K race on the base. It wasn't the race on the base. It was a race on the base. It was, you know what I'm saying. I attended the XBN Supplier Outreach event with our economic development team, and I only went because the gentleman that was doing the inviting was just adamant that I go. I sent him my team. He said I still needed to go. I went to my ACCOC executive meeting. I'm on the fair committee for the National League of Cities, and one of the first presentation that I was able to partake in was a budget best practices from across the country. So from Arlington, Texas, a gentleman shared what the best practices were for him sharing out his budget, and they do these YouTube videos, and it's like really cool. Like one of them, they use Legos. I thought it was amazing because then you can kind of show residents, because budgets are, we just sat through a budget experience, and they show you like, okay, so PD is this much, rec is this much, public works is this much, economic development is, you want us to change something, pull it from where? And it makes it just so much easier to understand. So I think that's the benefit of being in a nationwide kind of conglomerate, because you get insight from all across the country. I went to my Vectors policy meeting and then also a board meeting. And then for the 4th year in a row, I attended the Women in Leadership Summit. And that is just an exceptional event that I can't remember the ladies from somewhere, but ACCOC partners with them. They have a panel that comes up, and it's just really a wonderful time of learning and encouragement amongst the women that is. Men can come too. We don't discriminate. And then I went to a ribbon cutting. I had a restaurant reach out to me directly and invite me to their ribbon cutting for Dairy Market by Breezy's. So it's in the plaza that's across the street from Southland Credit Union. Highly encourage everyone to stop by. They gonna make my back real big, but it's okay. And then, like the chief mentioned, I was honored to attend the PD Employee Awards banquet. Hats off to you, sir. I think that your team had such a glorious time. It's really great because they put us all at one table, like those of us that they want us to leave. So as soon as the music starts playing, once it hits a certain decibel, that's when we know it's time for us to get out, so the get down on it can start happening. And that is it. I think I did pretty good with time. Okay, so I got something specific I gotta do. Okay, we are going to adjourn to Tuesday, May 26th at 6 p.m. Okay, everybody go home.